With our fearless heart. I'm sorry, Goalie played really good music stream, and I was just kind of getting into it. So that's kind of what's been going on. So what is up, everyone? STiKS Live. We're live. We got some fantastic people here today. We got Kingdom, we got Tommy, we got Goalie doing his production stuff. And if you guys did kind of miss our, type of hype before and on our Twitter and stuff, Fatty will be here. He's running a little bit late, but he will be here, kind of coming back in the show. But we got some I want to say older people, but we got some Throwback Thursday STiKS members coming out, man.
That transition was sick.
Whoa!
I missed it. What happened?
Oh, you missed it. Like, it did a little transition from like the timer to us. Goalie's been working his ass off.
He has been. Goalie was showing us some really cool stuff that he's got in the works yesterday when we were kind of preparing for the show, and it looks pretty awesome. So Goalie's got some cool stuff in the works, like I mentioned. So what is up, everyone, whether on YouTube, whether in the stream chat right now, welcome to the STiKS Live. We're going to give a little bit of an intro for ourselves if you guys are new. Kingdom showing off his G Fuel hat. You got a little bit of a care package today for one of our great sponsors.
I got a bit of a care package.
You want to show that care package at all?
Actually, I recorded a video because it said on the box.
A video.
Record unboxing. So I recorded the unboxing, and it will be going up on my channel. But there's some proprietary futuristic information that I may not be able to share. But I can at least show you guys so you can like peep it from a distance.
Oh my!
You guys see it on screen? I can't tell because it's delayed.
I think I can see it, but I don't know if the stream can.
Just a pile of stuff over there.
They also sent him that couch as well. Really nice people. They sent him a G Fuel couch.
Yes.
They sent him a house, like a whole house.
That's actually where he's sitting. That tables.
Like, we're just gonna move you completely.
What if
no problems with
that's like a new level of sponsorship, and they give you a house like that.
We're not just gonna give you products. We're gonna literally relocate.
You'll be living here now. That's what's going on. So we're going to kind of give a little bit of an introduction for ourselves. I'm going to start with Tommy, then go to Kingdom, and I will kind of introduce myself as well. Talk about where you've been, what you've been doing, what you're up to, and your affiliations in the community. So Tommy, if you would be ever so kind to start us off.
I've been, if I explain what I've been doing over the last week, that it just take too long. But yeah, I'm basically just back at uni.
What were you? Stuff. Can you give us like a brief, like general? What were you doing?
Yeah.
What have you been doing?
No, I've just been super busy, honestly. Like, first week back of uni was a bit chaotic, and then like I'm doing placement in a school as well. What's every Tuesday? What's today? And that's chaotic. And then it's just getting everything organized about meetings, and because it's my final year, it's like gets real. Like it's where it matters. So yeah, it's been busy. But hey. My name's Tommy. I'm your resident ginger. I make YouTube videos. Tommy_esports is where you want to go to. And yeah, I don't really have many affiliations. XL, the STiKS, obviously. But yeah.
Tell Joel to send me a hat or a shirt.
You're in like a waiting list. Like Goalie wants merch as well. I have a word with him. I'll just be like, I think new merch will be coming out because like they rebranded the logo because like.
Yeah, I saw it. Like the
it looks good,
half XL type. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, I'll try and sort you out. Okay. I'm not sure about shipping fees.
Can I get something too?
You can have.
Like everyone else is talking about stuff. I'm like,
can I? Hey, you too.
We all will rock. Look, we'll have a whole show where we rock Excel gear.
I will literally do that. I will do that.
Break. I'm gonna go get my XL T-shirt and I'm putting it on. I'm gonna make you all jealous. Landon, I'll get you a signed autograph of your favorite European player.
Oh, if you could get an autograph from one European player that Tommy could provide, who would it be? That's not the question of the week, but
who? That's easy.
Who?
He was on Optic.
Oh, you went Swanee? Okay,
yeah, I just knew that was coming. Okay, maybe I can't get Swanee, let's be honest, but
Swanee's good. I kind of want Marky B. Like Marky B is a really cool.
I could do Marky B. I'm pretty sure I could do that.
I feel like I'm gonna meet him one day. Like I feel like I'm gonna meet Marky B.
Like in a dream, or
randomly come across him in the street.
Is he gonna come to Washington? Or?
He's gonna come to the NA for some reason. I don't know.
So are you giving us intel that he's switching rosters and coming up?
I can't release the intel yet because it's Optic intel.
It's Optic. There's going to be an Optic EU team before we know it.
Oh no, we're just giving so much intel right now. We shouldn't even. We're sorry, everyone. We shouldn't be giving this information out.
I mean, technically, you could potentially meet him, but yeah.
I think I will. I don't know why. I've been on the show with him.
You're going Worlds, right?
No, I'm not.
Oh, really? I was gonna say.
I just heard Goalie's massive sigh.
Yeah. My son's birthday.
I was gonna say.
Can't go.
I was just thinking about it because obviously he's with Infused. I don't know how it would work because I don't know like the setup. I
can get Marky B's autograph. I can get
Swanee's as well. Get it and ship it to
Hey, yes, I like that. You send it to me, I'll send you something.
The couch. I'll take the couch.
You said the couch. Do I get the house? Do I get the house?
The sample pack. It's got 20 packs in there.
Ooh.
I'll take the couch instead.
I could do with a couch in it. I could just sit on it and just be like, sup.
Scuff couch. You just get a big sticker, smack it on there. You're good to go.
No, the STiKS couch.
The STiKS couch. That sounds kind of cool. If we ever like get a live studio for the STiKS, we have to have a STiKS couch.
A red, white, and blue couch.
Yeah, like exactly. That'd be kind of sweet. I would like that. So I think we've kind of went long enough with Tommy's intro. Kingdom, for those who probably don't know you.
Tommy, that was the longest intro.
It's your fault. You're like, can I have some merch? Can I have this? And you blame it all on me.
That's what I do. So my name is Kingdom Soldier. I'm the founder and CEO. No, I'm just joking. I co-imagined this awesome show with my duo Goalie, who's behind the scenes right now.
Goalie, say hi.
Hi.
There you go. What is that? We can't do that anymore.
I am sponsored gladly by G Fuel. They did send me a whole bunch of stuff. I'll do an unboxing video about it. And I'm also sponsored by Scuff, or we're sponsored by Scuff. The STiKS is. Use code STiKS for 5%. Look at this right on the bottom of the screen. Like, so easy. I'm sure Landon just missed.
I made it.
Shot that he threw. But that's about it. Hopefully see some. I actually made a montage and like a frag movie. I put one on my channel called 3 Piece, but I made another one with using the thermal obsidian steed. And I put music on it, and then it's like, copyright, we muted this music. And so kind of sucked. Because then I went to no copyright sounds and found some whack song that I can put on there.
For all we know, you've been uploading daily, but it's just all been taken down because of copyright.
Exactly.
This is the real reason Kingdom doesn't upload. He gets copyright strikes.
He uploads daily.
He
does.
But I will say that there may be some Kingdom Soldier apparel in the future. Somebody sent me a logo that I actually really like. And he sent me all the files, and so I'm gonna probably let Goalie play with it. But and then the STiKS has a bright future. Just stay tuned.
We do.
That's it.
That was a pretty good intro. Like, I don't know if I can top that. However, I have been playing the. Can I show this? Hopefully, I can. Star Wars Battlefront beta. It's all you guys get to see.
You're a jerk.
Got a code, and I've been playing it copyright.
How did you get that?
Jerk. He tweeted or something, or
I hate you. I remember you tweeting in like the STiKS chat going, "Has anyone got a beta?" And then I hate you. I'm gonna.
Okay, so Rage is in the chat right now. I started Rage tweeting, and then I can't remember what he said. He's like, "I've seen so many people posting beta codes and whatnot." So the reason I put it in the STiKS chat was because I thought that he might have a code, a cheeky code. So that's why I put it in the chat. I didn't know if anyone else by chance had one, or I didn't really know how people would get them. But it ended up working out pretty well. So. It's pretty fun. I'm not trying to be like weird or anything like that, but it's pretty fun. That's what I've been doing lately. But as far as like an intro really goes, what's up? My name is Landon. I'm a caster, YouTuber. I've been uploading a lot of YouTube videos recently. Looking forward to Black Ops 3.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be studying that like crazy. Like for instance, like you're gonna have to know that game. I want to know that game better than players do, which probably won't be possible, but I'm gonna do my best. So. That's kind of like it for our intros. I would ask Goalie to give his intro, but he probably doesn't want to do that. But either way, we're gonna move on to the question of the week. My favorite part of the entire episode. You think COD Sports? That would be my favorite thing to talk about? No, it's the question of the week, and it can be as random as I want it to be. And the question of this week is: if you could go pro in any esport, it has to be an actual esport, so you can't go pro in like Tetris, even though that would be a really good career. You go pro in any esport. What esport would it be, and why?
I could go pro in any esport.
Any esport you want to,
but it has to already be an esport.
It has to exist
as an esport.
Yes.
Who's going first?
I don't know. Anyone like to volunteer?
Landon, I think you should go first. Take the bullet.
I don't want to like give the cop out answer and just say COD, because like Black Ops 3 coming up. So, I don't know. This is a hard one. This is a really hard one to answer. And to be honest, I did not prepare my answer. I was hoping that you guys would give me like something to go off of. So I'm thinking I'm gonna go with probably the most like dumb answer. I'm gonna go where the money is. Dota 2. I'm going to the TI6, and I'm gonna win, $1 million. I'm gonna win $1 million at one tournament. That's all I'm doing. Dota 2, coming for you. That rhymed, but
that's good. I like that.
I'm going for Dota 2, man.
Dota 2 coming
the money
for you.
is.
That could be your catchphrase.
Is it bad for me to ask what
Dota 2, I'm coming for you.
It's their major tournament, the Internationals, what it's called. They had like $18 million prize pool this year. So
$18 million.
Yep. It's a good amount of money. I think everyone in first got at least like 1.5 million. Tax already taken out. Like I forget who paid for it. I think it was like Steam or maybe it was Valve. I think Valve paid for it. So it was like tax free. They got $1.5 million for winning. It's EG. So congratulations to EG. But I'm gonna be on EG, taking their spot.
You're gonna be on EG, are you? You're the next
evil geniuses, man. I'm out to play some Dota 2. I've played one game of Dota 2 my entire life.
Well,
and did not get one kill. So
I've not played any.
Right future for me.
And it's free, and I should probably do that. But yeah.
So mine's Dota 2. Would anyone else like to go as well? I'm gonna look at the chat. I'm gonna see if anyone's put any good ones in the chat. If you go pro in one esport.
I think Rage put StarCraft. Well, I think
Ron said LOL.
So he wants to win like $500 or something. I'm just kidding. No, I used to love StarCraft, but it's kind of, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Dota, yes.
I would go pro in. I'm gonna say CS.
CS. It's a good one.
I like watching it. Recently, I've been watching a lot of it. Watching reruns, whatever I can find, like that. Whatever runs on MLG.tv, then I'll switch over to Twitch and whatever they're running over there. Like I just been watching a lot of CS. I like the game. I like what you can do with it, and watching all the old gameplays and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't change too often, except they add maps and things like that. So it's not like Call of Duty where I got to worry about being called a ghoster or a jetpacker or, what would you call a Black Ops 2 person? A Black Ops 2er?
Yeah.
I have no idea. So I would like probably to do CSGO because it's most familiar. I really don't like the games like LOL and Dota and stuff like that. I don't even watch them, or Nerd Poker, any of that kind of stuff.
Wow.
No, I don't watch League.
What?
Look, I barely have time to watch Call of Duty.
That's
true.
No. You're always watching. You're always uploading. You just get copyright strikes.
What's unfortunate is that now that I've started watching and playing Call of Duty more, nobody else is. So it kind of sucks. Yeah. Everybody's playing something else, and I'm like, okay, Goldie's not streaming, but he's probably secretly playing another game.
I remember you asking if anyone wanted to play Advanced Warfare, and there was just no reply.
Yeah, just
nope. Like, nope.
Nope.
No one.
Okay. Well, I guess that kind of leads on to my answer.
Wait, so what was Kingdom's? He said, okay, so we got Dota 2, CSGO.
And I would play for Team Envious.
Okay, yeah. How would you pick a team?
Why not?
Okay, well.
I have no idea how to play League of Legends. I'm fascinated by it so much, though, and I would give it 110%. I may, just reach amateur, but yeah.
I like it.
Just because I don't want to go with, if I didn't go with League, I'd maybe go with something like Halo. Obviously, I know it's only just kind of, reborn.
It's dead.
Rebuilding.
Yeah.
So I would personally choose COD over Halo. I think that's pretty easy.
Yeah, Halo's like a
COD community.
I like
Halo. Say it.
Halo's awesome.
As much as I love COD, the Halo community is a lot better in some ways than the COD community.
Wow.
No,
Goodness.
That's just always going to get bashed.
Shots from Tommy, man. This is. Wait, is Ron? Is that Ron in the chat?
Scumbagging and the roster changes.
Because I told him I'd beat him in Tetris.
Bro, I play Tetris a lot. I love Tetris.
I would smack.
I think we should play Minesweep.
I'm not a competitor.
Oh, Minesweep esports. I like it.
I think we did. I asked the question.
Was real. You'd be like 2 squares left. One's a bomb. One's the win.
Is there strategy in that, or is it just completely random?
There's a little bit of strategy.
Although some people go every 2 squares, but generally speaking, it's blind luck.
Yeah. There's a little bit of strategy. A little bit.
Like, what strategy is there? Like, I'm thinking, like, you literally just press random little boxes.
There's more strategy in me brushing my teeth.
Once you start...
Wow, Minesweep community is about to, like, dislike this video.
There is.
I'm sorry, Minesweep community. My goodness. You got the COD community against you, Tommy. Now you got the Minesweep community. All 5 of them are literally going to dislike.
Send me hate. Why not?
Goodness gracious.
Okay, Minesweeper actually has Twitter.
Oh no!
They really?
I'm trying to look it up.
Tweet them. Tweet them.
Oh no, it's just people with the name. Who would have the name Minesweeper, like as a person?
That's a cool name, though. That'd be a cool, like, YouTuber name. Anywho, we're getting off topic. But yeah, mine's, I don't know. Yeah.
What time is Fatty coming on? A pro just sent me a message saying they would come on. I'll DM. I'll DM you guys. Keep talking. Go ahead, Landon.
All right. This is me trying to fill. So if you guys want to put your answer to the question of the week, which is if you go pro in any esport, what would it be and why? Let us know. So far, at least for me personally, I
want
have
to see someone say something really bizarre. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm saying I chose Dota 2 for the money. Kingdom chose it because it's a popular esport. He played for Team Envy, for CS, and Tommy chose League of Legends. It's a pretty good choice. I'm not. It's a pretty good choice, and whatnot. So, goalie, do we have any idea? Because I have no idea when Fatty's coming on. And I say more the merrier. Like we can have 8 people on the show. I honestly could care less.
Don't give goalie a heart attack.
Don't give goalie a heart attack.
We wouldn't be able to speak, literally. Everyone would speak for like 2 seconds.
Should we take a commercial break and come back with our first topic?
We can take a short commercial break.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, we're going to have a pro, which I don't know who's coming on, but we got a lot of cool stuff. Potentially a possible pro coming on, and we'll also try to get Fatty in here as soon as possible, guys. So thank you so much for watching STiKS so far. We'll be back after this quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere because I'm watching you.
Goalie, can you add him?
I'm trying to do a show. I was listening to Kingdom's song that he was thinking about doing, but apparently he's not going to do it now. So I'm just listening to Kingdom's song.
I started talking about a song, and I was like, "Is this the STiKS, or is this a podcast about music?"
This can be a podcast about music. We can totally change this over if we want to.
Oh, you can move on.
MLG Worlds.
All right, the MLG World Finals groups have been basically announced. I'm going to go over the tournament format, how it's going to work, and then we'll go over the groups and specifics, give our talk, and give our predictions kind of on the groups and how they will be moving forward. So, the tournament format, first thing, the tournament will support as many as 112 teams, 16 teams starting in pool play, 96 teams start in the open bracket. The STiKS live team could happen. We should try to make that. Goalie, can we get a team pass for Worlds? Can that happen? No? All right. Well, I tried.
I sell Kingdom's G Fuel couch.
If we sell his G Fuel couch, we could have enough money to get a team pass. Team Gamma. There we go. Next thing, when 4 teams remain in open winners bracket, they will be placed in pool play. When 4 teams remain in the open losers bracket, they will be placed in championship bracket losers round 1. So basically the same format as like a UMG. The top 4 teams from the open bracket make it into pool play. Kind of normal talk, but just kind of going over it a little bit. Next thing, tournament format. All pool play championship losers bracket matches are best of 5 games. All championship winners and grand finals matches are best of 7s, which I personally really like. And I was going to ask your guys' thoughts about this as well. So for all regular matches, all pool play matches, those will be best of 5s. But all championship winners and grand final matches will be best of 7s. So the game leading up to the grand finals and the grand final will both be best of 7s. I'm going to ask Tommy, first of all, do you like that format? Do you like the idea of switching between? Because I know at Season 3 playoffs, we had just all best of 7s, and people kind of like that. What do you think about kind of switching back and forth between the two?
I like it. So just to recap, it's best of 5 for pool play and open bracket, and then when we get to championship bracket, it's best of 7 all the way. Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, I quite like that because I don't think you'd actually be viable to do best of 7 the whole event anyway. Because of obviously you've only got 3 days and limited stations, the amount of people that we're attending, etc., etc. One thing leads to another. I think it's really good as well because it builds intensity, knowing that when you go into them championship matches, you have got an extra couple of games, and it just builds intensity. We saw the first ever game or 3-game comeback by FaZe and stuff like that. I thought it was really awesome. Some series did get a bit boring. That's the only thing I can kind of think in terms of negatives, because obviously a series can technically go on past 2 hours.
Right.
What can be a little bit boring and stale for some people to watch, in just one sitting. But generally, I like the transition of kind of starting with best of 5s and then transitioning into best of 7s.
Indeed, I think we have someone here. We have a guest joining us mid-show. I believe we have Neslo joining us. Neslo, how are you doing, my friend?
Well, that's good. Just got back from the gym, chilling, watching the show.
Hey, I like it. What'd you do today at the gym?
A little bit of legs.
Oh, okay. So you're a little sore, probably?
Oh, yeah, I can't even move right now, so. I'm a statue right now.
I gotcha. Well, currently we're just kind of discussing how the tournament format is kind of working. I'm going to ask you really quickly, Neslo, being as a player, do you personally like the format of the tournament being all best of 5s until the winners bracket finals and also the grand finals being best of 7s? Do you like that, or would you rather it just be all best of 5s or all best of 7s?
It's pretty cool. I like best of 7s. I mean, as a player, you just want to play. Like, you want to get as many maps in as possible. I think everyone has the mindset like, oh, if you're the better team, you'd rather play more maps in general. Especially in a game like AW where, something fluky can happen in an uplink or something stupid. But, I mean, I wish bracket play in general was best of 7s, not just winners finals. But I mean, that would take a lot of time to run the tournament. It really changed about midway through the game when we had CTF, because in a best of 7 we had 4 game types.
Right.
That was like, whew. That's a lot of jumping around to do as a viewer to be like, oh, what are they playing now? What are they playing now? But now that we only have hardpoint, S&D, and uplink, best of 7s are pretty good.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty good in my opinion. Kingdom, do you have any thoughts about the format as well? I know there's some interesting stuff going on in the chat right now. But Kingdom, your thoughts? Regular best of 5s, and then winners bracket finals and the grand finals being best of 7s. Nestle said he would rather have it be the best of 7 type of format. Tommy said he likes the way it is. Kingdom, your thoughts about how you like that?
Well, I liked some of the best of 7 matches, but I would have to say, like Tommy and like you've been saying, it would just be so long. Like, we'd have such a long event. Saturday would take forever because of how far down you have.
Saturday's already the longest day, and if it's all best of 7s, like, people wouldn't be finishing until God knows what time.
Well, no, Sunday would just be really, really, really long, unless they added more to Friday and started earlier. But then, with people's work schedules and stuff, then you're messing up views, which are down anyway, so we don't want to lose any of that. So I would have to say that I like the way that they're doing this, and I want to see how it goes. I wish we could pick something consistent, like long term.
It's changing,
bouncing around. I mean, nobody wants to watch AW now anyway, so having to watch, best of 7s for every match that sounds kind of tasking. But depending on the teams that are playing each other, it can be very exciting. Like, I don't even care if a team gets beat really bad. Like, I watched the 5K, but it was all the maps were close between Denial and OG, so it was entertaining to me.
I honestly, like, looking at one of the previous event season 3 playoffs, like, those are best of 7s. Coming into that, I was like, not like, oh no, but I was like, oh gosh, this is going to be like a grind watching all these matches. And I honestly, like, really liked them. Granted there were, a limited amount of teams. It was all the teams in season 3, but I thought it worked out, pretty well. So we're going to go over how these teams in the World Finals groups were drawn, how everything basically went. So there were actually 4 tiers, obviously 4 teams per tier. In tier 1, it was the top 4 teams from the NA. In tier 2, it was the 5th through 8th teams from the NA. In tier 3, it was the 9th through 12th teams from the NA. And in tier 4, it was the international teams 13th through 16th. So how they basically did this, they did a group drawing on the ESR yesterday. If you guys have watched the League of Legends type of thing, like in other world events, they kind of do like a random drawing and put teams in different tiers, and basically they would have they had 3 different type of areas where they would choose. They had 4 teams. It's hard to explain. So they had. I'm having a hard time explaining this. So they had 3 different type of areas, tiers in each one. They would pick randomly, and out of those, they would put them in different groups. So the idea of group drawing, it being all random. Do you guys like this idea? And as well as Neslo, you're kind of basically put into a random group with having no say about it. Like, you know what I mean? Is that something that you prefer, or do you would you rather it be more structured?
Dude, it's not random. There's no way.
No,
I gotta be a psychic because I literally DM'd Ben when I found out they were drawing groups, and I literally told him my pool. I said I'm gonna have Optic Gaming in my pool. I'm gonna have Infuse in my pool, and then and then XGN, which is Fizzard Killa. I don't even know. They're making roster changes on the daily, but it's actually interesting. It's different. It's like every event you play the same teams in pool play because the seedings don't change because the pro point system is scaled up so much this late into the game where seedings hardly change. The only reason why seedings have changed at all is because of the roster changes. Other than that, like, you barely move. So I would say it's good to play someone new, but I play these teams in pool play usually anyway. So it's definitely it's a different format. I like it 100%. It's interesting.
You do like it? You said?
Yeah, 100%.
Huh. Interesting. I was wondering because of where you guys landed in this in the groups. I was wondering if you'd like it. But
I mean, I know Sharp doesn't like it. Sharp said last night he was just like, "What are we grinding 2Ks and 5Ks for? Spending $20 every tournament for a seeding when it matters, but you don't know who you're gonna play or you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not rewarded for the highest seed. Like, there could have been a tier 2 team that got completely screwed over in a pool, which you guys can debate on like the hardest pools or whatnot, but."
Yeah,
I think it's interesting. I think it's something different. Last event for AW, why not?
I can agree. I think it's personally like looking at it from just a viewer perspective. I thought it was kind of interesting, but I can also see the point of working really hard, and then ultimately at the very end of the day, it's basically random. It's up to whoever kind of drew the things out. But so we're gonna go over each group, kind of how each of them kind of ended out. So in Group A, it will be Optic Gaming, Team Caliber, XGN, and Infused. In Group B, it is going to be FaZe, Optic Nation, ISO, and Vitality. In Group C, it's going to be Denial, Epsilon, Rise, and Millennium. And in Group D, it's going to be Elevate, Envy, Orbit, and Citadel. So we have some really, really good groups. I think we have some really good teams kind of dispersed throughout the entire thing. But also, do you guys like how they did? I know we kind of talked about the tiers already, but, looking at Group A, we're going to talk about the first group. Your thoughts about Group A? I know Nestle's obviously on TK. OG is a very well-known squad as well. XGN's had their problems in the past. And Infused, a very good European team to kind of point out. So in Group A, who are you guys looking at? I wouldn't say your top 2, but who are some of the people? Who are some of the teams that you're looking at to come out of Group A? People that you could see making a surprise out of this pool. I'm going to ask Tom. I'll ask Kingdom too. Kingdom.
No, go ahead. I'm just asking, where do the teams go? So do the top 2 teams go to winners bracket?
Yep.
Okay.
Top 2 teams go to winners. 4th place or 5th place team because an open bracket team comes into the pool as well. So
it's pretty much the same as
same as they've been doing the last couple of events. Okay.
Yeah, you place the worst in your pool, you go to round 1 losers and champs.
Yeah.
Things like that.
In terms of we're talking about pool A to start off with. I mean, just to kind of touch on the whole, how the pools were selected, I kind of like it because you still got that tier system. Obviously, it is randomized and it's not totally done down to seedings, but it is still kind of structured in a way. Pool A, I don't really see anyone contending OG or TK. I want to kind of give my EU boys some love, but I think over the course of Advanced Warfare, we've kind of seen how the European teams just don't, stack up to the North American teams, especially over in a North American soil. The only times they have turned up is on European soil, what they're not. XGN, as Neslo, pretty much self-explanatory. They're in
shambles.
Just every day. I mean, I think I saw Fizzip tweeting out saying they're trying Merc as a 4th. I was like, you're less than 2 weeks away from a 250k tournament. Is this really the time to be doing?
Were done.
I think they are, dude. I don't know. They're insane. Every day, Fizzip is dropped.
I don't know if it's for Black Ops 3 or what, but I don't see anyone contending OG or TK. I think with TK being in OG's pool, I don't see that as a bad thing because look at statistically, there will potentially finish second. But you can play Optic in the pool where it's kind of like a free lifeline where like you can play them and still easily qualify for that championship bracket. You can learn a lot from a team that's considered one of the best in the game, and potentially if you face up against them again, go on to beat them. So yeah, I don't see any problems for TK or OG though.
Okay, I like your thoughts. Kingdom, your thoughts about Group A, like kind of what Tommy said, teams that you're looking at to do well. Obviously, Tommy was kind of spot on with his predictions and whatnot, but
wow. Well, I guess I just shouldn't say anything.
Well, no, not that he was spot on, but I mean, like he gave his opinions on the teams pretty well. I would say.
Yeah, and you have to say spot on. There's no T.
Right?
I just see what goalie put on stream.
Oh no.
For you, Benson. He's left now as well.
That header is legit.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I look pretty. Dude, I put my webcam on right now, but I'm looking grizzly.
Yeah, that's my hair. That's why I'm wearing a hat.
I'm looking cavemanish.
That's how you got to go to an event. Scare the other team.
Nah, I can't do that. Never.
So I would say, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna, I know Nezlo's on the show.
No, dude, be brutally honest, bro. I don't care.
Anytime we've ever had a pro on, we've always been honest about their team. It's like when Merc was on, we weren't like they're gonna win. Whatever event it was. Envy was struggling at the time, but I
loved Merc's tweet yesterday where he tweeted out like CS.
And then
the top
it.
2 team, and then he tweeted out like Smite team top top team, and then he tweeted out COD like top 28 or something something crazy
top
like that.
6, CS top 3.
Yeah.
And he said COD top 128.
Oh, is it 128? Wow.
Yeah, then he deleted it. So I honestly think that TK, my aim would be to beat Optic. I know that's the aim all the time. You want to win every single time.
Beat the competition.
But I'm not just saying, because there are teams that legitimately. They complain about it, like, kind of like you were saying, Sharp feels like Brandon is feeling right now. Like, people complain about who they have to play, but to win, you got to win.
I mean, he's not. I'll like recite that in a sec, but he wasn't like. The thing that people don't understand about us is I came on the show, I think, before Dallas when I got right back on TK, and people were like, "Oh, the Chem's gonna be back. We have Nameless. We're gonna be really good." I sat here and thought, like, "Yo, we're about to be nasty again," and it just simply didn't happen. Honestly, the best event we had with Nameless, we didn't practice for ever. We literally played 3 days in a month. We didn't believe in practicing because we weren't getting better. We practiced a lot before Gfinity and didn't make it out of pool play. So
what is wrong with this game? Because Parasite said that they did the same thing. Like the team, when he was on phase with Apathy, Sensor, and was it STiKS that was on that team at the beginning of AW? And he said they didn't practice at all. Like
this game, it's like. Every other Call of Duty had a fundamental rule set as a player on what you need to do in every situation. And the thing is, the situations are so day to day in this game to the point where if you're situationally on, if your timings are on, if you're getting 2 pieces, it doesn't matter how much you've practiced as long as you're showing up. So you practice because it's muscle memory. You practice because it's habitual. You want to develop the best habits in every game type and every map to put yourself in the best situation to win. You want to play the highest percentage way of winning. That's why like Complexity and EG, when they made their runs, they would lose like a series occasionally, but they would end up winning every event because they played the most consistent way. There is zero way to play consistent in this game as a team. The only way you can play consistent in this game is as an individual. So
let me ask you this then. If that, like what you just said, the only way you can play consistent is as an individual, are you saying that the success that like FaZe and Optic are seeing being like top 2 almost every single event this year is because of the individual play?
I think it's a big part of it. I'm the guy that always believes in chemistry and teamwork. That's what TK is. I mean, that might be one of the key reasons why we struggled all year in AW. But obviously, they have some of the most talented players in Call of Duty. I've talked about this already. Yeah. But this game, they do have more chem. Like they can be the best AW players, but they also have the chem. Like they can take the S&Ds off you because they have the chemistry, the communication, and they do everything right when it comes to just not even Call of Duty, like calling out, like their communication, their mindset, everything like that is different. So.
Okay.
But just like overall, like we didn't practice at all before DC, and we won like 6 game 5s.
Oh my gosh!
And our chemistry was just clicking in our search. We lost like 1 search all weekend.
Yeah.
So we went like 13-1 or 13-2 in S&D. It was crazy. So like you can have that team like Epsilon showed up at playoffs. Like I think these like predictions are going to be completely wrong for almost every pool, just on the fact that this is the last AW event. And everyone knows the game to this point, and I think there's going to be so many upsets at this event that we're going to be completely mind blown.
Well, and that's what I think is that if I was in group A, pool A, whatever it's called, XGN, looking at their roster, I mean, I'm sorry, Study and Fizzer, but there's just no chance. I mean, Killa, and this may be, I don't know if Killa even picks the STiKS back up for the next game, because he can't find himself on a team that can actually win. Like, he hasn't been able to for a long time, and this is going to be, they're going to go 0-3, in my opinion. I think this is really up to how you guys and Infused play against each other, and then if one of the two of you can beat OG. OG
right
will,
now.
Go ahead.
That Infused roster is different. They replaced probably, I don't know if about 2 of the best players on the team. I'm pretty sure Quicker's gone, and I don't know if LXT is gone. I don't know exactly.
Quicker
a lot
is gone.
different to what it was at Summer Championships.
It's Urban, Zero, PD, and Marky B, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, and like I've got mixed input about it. I already asked around a couple of you players. I was like, "Yo, is that team better than the Gfinity team that placed 3rd or 4th or whatever?" I was like, "Is it worse? Is it about the same?" And I've heard a lot of mixed input on it, but I'm fucking heated. Pardon my language, but I'm heated. We lost to them twice at Gfinity, and I'm disgusted that we lost to them. And I already knew they were going to be in our pool. Like I said, I already knew who our pool was going to be and who we were going to draw. And the thing about Brandon is Brandon was heated about the whole pool play and pro point thing. But what people don't understand about us is no matter how many times we've lost him or how many times we've played him, and it's been back and forth even when I wasn't on the team this year, we would rather play Optic Gaming more than any other team in the game at that level, because I can't stand playing the elevates and epsilons of this game. I can't stand it. I can't stand a bunch of maniacs double dashing, jetpacking everywhere. The amount of aggression those teams put on you compared to the OGs, it's just OG. I know what to expect when I play Optic Gaming.
They're more methodical, yeah.
They're way more methodical. They have the fundamentals. They have the players that have played fundamentally correct. They do play their own way, but we scrum them a lot. We play them a lot. And we are much more comfortable playing OG than an Elevate or an Epsilon, 100%, or even an Envy.
That's interesting. I never.
That's why, we were really happy we drew OG.
I mean, hey, why not play the best at the very beginning? I mean, there's no sense in trying to skip around it. I mean, yeah, you want to finish high so you can make more money and all that kind of stuff, but I'm pretty confident you guys are going to get out of the pool. If I had to pick 2, I would pick you and OG.
Apathy is the crim counter.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think they said. Somebody said on the ESR yesterday. It might have been Max that said that Apathy. Oh no, it was TP that said that Apathy is that he just plays well against Optic, and that if he turns up and does well, it'll go great. So I think that if I had to pull 2 teams out of Group A, I would easily say that it would be OG and TK.
I don't think it'll be easy for anyone at all. I don't even think it'll be easy for Optic.
We shall see.
Got a lot of this is really got me it's kind of hard to think this is the last technically event for AW. I know there's an EGL or something afterwards, but
random EGL.
Yeah, but this is the last big tournament. After this event, no one's gonna play W most likely.
Yeah, the thing is, you can't say it's gonna be easy for anyone because you had teams like Prophecy placing top 4 at champs or top 5 at champs, that didn't practice at all. These weird rosters, these teams, the TR kids have ran this entire game no matter what team they've been on. So I just really don't think I went to Gfinity looking at our pool we gotta beat Infused, and I'm never making that mistake ever again. Period. Not in this game ever.
So just from my opinion, looking at group, I have to agree with you guys. I think while there is going to be a lot of different changes, Nestle talking about teams are going to be turning up like crazy. Just based off of previous events, I got to go with OG and TK as well. I think the big matchup will be Infuse versus TK, unless XGN can turn up. But we also have to keep in mind open bracket teams, any of these, talented open bracket teams, which we'll get to talking about, some talented squads coming from the open bracket could also be added into whenever of these pools. We could see Justice in this one. We could see, a bunch of different squads who have made some upsets in the past and who are hungry to get some, get their hands on that prize money. So we're going to move over to Group B. In this pool, we're going to have FaZe, Optic Nation, ISO, and Vitality. Now, this is a pretty interesting pool. You know, a lot of new additions in this pool. Vitality making a completely new roster alongside of Tommy. FaZe remaining the same, and Oct Nation obviously gaining Nameless from TK and kind of getting rid of Mochillo. Mochillo kind of leaving in a sense. So I'm going to ask Kingdom, first of all, your main thoughts looking at Group B. Who are you looking at to do big things? Maybe any surprises as well. I know Nestle's brought up teams are going to be turning up like crazy. Any squads you're looking at?
I think FaZe carries this pool unless they have one of those random events like they, had recently a couple events ago. But these other three teams, I'm clueless. Like ISO, I think should do great. Maybe Swan Bomb will turn up for Vitality, but I would say if I had to choose two teams, I would say FaZe, and this is one of those pools where, like Neslo said, it's so unpredictable. There's going to be a lot of upsets. One of these teams is going to smoke FaZe. It's just going to happen, and we're all going to be like, "Whoa, FaZe finished 2-1."
Right.
And who knows what team it is? The team I'm the least confident in, unfortunately, is Oct Nation, and only because they've consistently struggled. Like, there's just something about I don't know what it is about the Oct Nation squad and allowing certain players to just stay there as long as they want and never leave, that it's the same questions that people started to draw right before Nade left Optic, even though they were winning and doing great. And so I would have to say FaZe and Isolation Empire would be my two teams that I'd pick out of there, just at random.
I'm going to ask you really quick, Ness. I know we kind of talked about ON. Nameless kind of being your previous teammate as well. ON, do you think that they could be a top contender in this group? I'll let you kind of talk about the teams in general, but what do you think of the new Oct Nation lineup? Do you think that Nameless really brings that X factor that ON maybe could have needed? I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about ON because they've had struggles, like you mentioned, Kingdom. Like, they've been a very struggling team throughout the entire game. You'll see them do well occasionally, and then in other events, you'll see them place top 25. And it seems like they can't nail it down. Nessa, like I said, do you think that Nameless can provide something that could bring them up potentially?
Man, that's hard for me to answer. Like, he's my ex-team, man. I'm not gonna sit here and bash Ant. Ant's a good player. Outside of the game, they really get along well. They got like what we got. We got friendships, and it gives them a better version of chemistry. I think Owen's doubtful to do well in pool play or in this tournament, like when it comes to that pool. But if they can win all of their searches, like I mean all of them, if they can be more prepared than any other team, which I know they've been playing, that they will be able to win series. Now, when I look at that pool, who's on Vitality right now?
That's Tommy, Swanee,
Joe.
Yeah, Mad Cat and Joe.
I think arguably Owen's the weakest respawn team in that pool. I know ISO, they are monsters at respawn. I mean, maybe not uplink, but their hard point is godlike. I just scrimmed them yesterday. I've been playing them. And, like, that's what me and Ben were, bantering about in the chat is, like, I felt like they were hesitant to pick ISO. Like, they picked them, but they weren't giving them enough credit. And I looked at this, like, pool, and I'm like, ISO could either win it or they're going to play second in the pool right away. There's a chance Owen could get fourth in this pool. Owen's definitely going to be my wild card team for this pool or the tournament because they're the kind of team I don't think they have the ability to beat FaZe or win the pool. I think they have the ability to easily go to winners. I think like they're good players. Like Nameless is a really good player. Ricky's got experience. He's a good player. They just don't have the roles that like fit in this game. And the only reason why our team is seeing like just a lot of improvement lately is because I changed to a Bal, and like a lot of players can't change their roles. Like, and then Sharp changed his role as well, and that's something that all four of us have been doing the entire game other than Apathy. Apathy's had one solid role. So,
this team, I posted their achievements in the chat. I don't know what the average placing is, but it's got to be like 10th or 11th.
It's like a little bit worse than ours, and ours has been trash.
Since this team has existed, like if you go back to like MLG Columbus, in 2011 they got one event, but then if you go to like the Ghosts and go into AW, there's just nothing there. There's a couple third places,
and that was G3.
And it's been Imbo's, Mir, and Ricky on most of them, except for when they dropped the whole team and Teep was on there for a while, but they even struggled then. I mean, there's just, and I don't know what it is, if it's just because of, I remember Teep saying he couldn't pick up who he wanted to pick up. He could only pick up certain players. There's just something about that squad that is very, and you've talked about this before, way on the show in the very past, Nezla, like first time you were on, and I don't know what type of future this team as a part of Optic has if they don't make some, similar
drastic changes.
Yeah, drastic changes like they did with the A teams.
Like I said, like dude, they're all good players. But the thing about like the reason why, well, one of the reasons why teams like ON us struggle in this game. I mean, first of all like 8 of us have really good placings in other Call of Duties, but there's no fear factor, dude. And what I mean by fear factor is this is something that no one accounts into, is that I went around because we already knew we were making a change after we got double first round of the playoffs. We knew that we wanted a new fourth. So I went around, talked to players, wanted to get their input. And I was like, yo, what do you think when you're about to play us? When you find out you got to play TK, what do you think? And they're like, you're trash. Like it's going to be easy.
Wow.
And I'm just thinking, like, if people are going in a series thinking that, like how we thought in Black Ops 2, you're just going to play faster, you're going to play better, and you're going to be more comfortable. And when Owen has struggled for that long, kind of like we have, it's really hard. When like anyone prepares to play Owen, mindset-wise, they're going to be like, all right, we win the search, the series is over.
Yeah.
And I think like that's how people think about us, ON, and I just don't see them winning a lot of respawns. I think Miracles is going to have to go off at Worlds for them to have a chance at placing really, really well. Or Nameless, because Nameless has those events where he literally just is insane.
Just dominates. Yeah.
So I think,
true.
and like they're like I said, they're the team that's structured similar to us to the point where none of them can struggle. Like not one of them can have a bad game against a top 3 or 4 team and be able to win.
100%.
So
that's interesting. What inspired you to do that question that you went around asking people what they thought?
Because I mean, like we needed a battle at the time, and we have a lot to offer as an organization. A lot of people like TK, and it was just one of those things. Like, who can we get as on our team to set us up for success for this last event? We weren't really looking at Black Ops 3. We were looking at who we were going to get for Worlds. Like Worlds is the only thing on our mind right now. And I was looking at players like Slasher, all the main battles, Octane, and I was just getting their input. I was like, what do you think about us when you play us? And like I already knew what they were going to say because I felt the same way about the rest of them in other Call of Duties. And
yeah,
it's just one of those things. I think if ON goes in confident, they're working hard. I believe in hard work. They can get to winners. I just don't see them winning the pool.
I can name 5 teams off the top of my head that if I put them up against ON, I could almost guarantee a victory. I think you might have been a little too harsh on your own team, putting you in the same company. I think that you guys are still TK as an organization. I think
we're not like that anymore. We're not like that anymore with apathy. When I have apathy on my team, I don't know. There's just some confidence. I don't know if it's because we almost won X Games, but he just gives me this like security blanket that I know he's about to go off. And I've played with so many players over the past 2 years, and Apathy is the only one that's been closest to my duo. And we have the same mindset. We have a great time playing together, and we've been playing every day. And it's just we just know because we've been together so long how to flip the switch, and that's why I like best of sevens because we could go down 3-0 and not worry about it. We could sit there and take it one map at a time. So I think Owen, like I said, Owen can grind it out, but I think they're gonna struggle.
Yeah, agreed. I think they can finish 4th, like you said. I agree.
Or they can finish 2nd. So
yeah,
anything's possible.
True. That is very true, actually. With that group,
it was a good point. I think that you guys are kind of talking about like with Owen and whatnot. It's like it always seems. I don't know if it's just me, but not necessarily the secondary team, but like obviously you think of an organization, they have their main squad. Occasionally they'll have not necessarily a B team, but they'll have an extra team like FaZe Red and FaZe Black. Optic Gaming, Optic Nation, just a different squad, and it always seems like that team. I don't know if they feel pressure or what it is, but they just never have the ability to perform. And I know it could be a matter of different things, their roster and whatnot. But do you guys think that there is any extra pressure being that extra team, like Optic Gaming and Optic Nation? People ask Hex all the time. They're like, how does it feel to have the best team and the worst team in the game? That's not necessarily true, but
at one point it was.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like it's not consistently like Owen's not necessarily placing last every event or anything, but. Do you think that there is a little bit of pressure being on ON and saying, if we don't win this, we're going to get just as much hate being on Optic, or like even FaZe Black at the time. They lost. I think they lost even getting into a season, and they had like Saints and Form. Like they had an insane roster.
That's ridiculous.
That's any team, man.
Is it any team? I didn't. I was just curious because it's like having.
There's
an extra
no
team.
way. I mean, I don't know what it's like to be on Optic. I'm gonna be real. TK's got a pretty loyal, good fan base. Like I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like we've been placing bad all year. I know Sharp gets a lot of it. Like I know Sharp gets a lot of hate about the people he picks up, how he plays sometimes, and like that's any team, whether you're a second team or not. Plain and simple. If you don't do well, you're gonna hear it on Twitter, and I'm sure Embos feels the most pressure if they do feel any pressure at all.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
So
he feels a lot, and I think because like Sharp or old school Nade, like Embos gets to kind of run that team and determine.
It just depends. Like some people just react differently. Like Embos might react bad to pressure when it comes to the fans and not want to disappoint them and overthink it. But when I get put under the gun or put under the pressure, that's when I love it. That's when I love playing. That's when I love proving people wrong. So it really just depends on the mindset.
I'll start roasting you before your first match.
That's what Ben and Courage does, and it works, man. They were roasting us before DC. I was like, I'm about to beat Denial, so watch. So
I would say I think I casted over you guys. I casted at DC. I casted. There were 3 games that you guys played, 1 off stream, 2 on Alpha that I didn't cast. Every other game I casted, and every one of those games you guys went to Game 5. I know you already mentioned that, but it was just like.
SND wins championships.
It does. It was just Game 5, and it was just like it came to the point where I was like, I'm casting TK, right? And it was like, yep, you're casting TK. And I was like, it's going Game 5 no matter what. I think I did. I don't know. But moving forward at a Group B, I'm gonna ask you really quick, Tommy. Vitality, a major team coming into this tournament. Many people would regard them as one of the best teams from Europe and also in their tier. Do you think Vitality has a chance to come out of their group or at least place well at this tournament with the team that they have? Because to be honest, like on paper, they have a lot of really talented players on the team.
That's the thing. Like on paper, it looks like amazing because like Joe's really broken out in this game, and then he's with Tommy Swanee, Mad Cat, who have all proven themselves time and time again. But like the biggest thing for me, I don't know what it is. It's just like a switch changes when they come over to North America, and we haven't really seen. The only thing I always go to is the TCM performance at MLG Anaheim of Ghost. But
it's the only good time
this,
the EU team's done well.
Yeah, exactly. I think this roster has the best chance out of the 3 European rosters, in my personal opinion. I mean, I think they've got a good chance because, as we talked about, I think this pool has a lot of uncertainty. I mean, yes, FaZe, could just blitz it and easily go, 4-0 in this pool. But at the same time, like at UMGDC, where they got obliterated by, like, I think it was like Justice, by... I can't remember what they finished exactly, but they didn't finish. I think they finished like 3rd overall, something like that. They had to start from losers and claw their way back. And I think the pool that Vitality have been put in, I definitely think they've got an opportunity with the likes of ON, who have performed terribly all season, let's be honest. Mm-hmm. And who is the other team they've got in their pool?
ISO.
ISO, yeah. ISO. ISO is a bit of a question mark for me. I mean, ISO haven't made a roster change, but I think benefits them because they've still got that chemistry. They still
played well, yeah.
I like ISO.
Exactly, yeah. They I don't think they need to. I mean, they're not going to be, in my opinion, boasting top 4, but they've been consistent in their placing around the top 8 region. So I think they can beat ISO. I think they can potentially beat ON, and who knows? I think that, as Neslo rightfully said, I think it'll be a lot of uncertainty because it gets towards the end of the game, people stop practicing, and it showed that in Ghost. At the end of Ghost, there was 6 different winners in the North American region. The last 6
you guys talked about the whole pressure thing with OM being a second team. It's got to be the reason why EU teams don't do well over here. There's nothing else other than like your body and your sleep schedule. Mm-hmm. I don't understand. I play EU teams here, and then I play them overseas, and they're 2 different teams. I don't understand.
Yeah. I don't get it either.
It's every time.
Do you think they feel the pressure of like previous places?
Yeah,
like
I feel the pressure. I feel the pressure going over Gfinity. Not like a lot of pressure, but it's the fact that like I mean I didn't make it out of exactly. I didn't make it out of pool play last Gfinity, and I'm just like I just went all the way to London for fucking nothing. Like I didn't do anything. So
there's a lot of things coming into like tournaments that I think regular viewers don't look at. It's like we're going over to a completely different country. Based on previous history. There's a lot of things that come into play that I don't think a lot of people, kind of take into consideration. But, kind of closing out on Pool B, We kind of graced on FaZe, obviously a really, really good team, looking to kind of come out of this pool as well. We kind of talked about Oct Nation. I think ISO, honestly, is a really, really good team. I know there's been a lot of talks about their roster and stuff, and I know Dito was even talking on Twitter saying, people don't give me the credit that I deserve. And I got to say, ISO is a really, really good team. They've kind of not necessarily flown under the radar, but people always say it's the denials that elevates the envies who are like in that, kind of third, fourth, fifth spot. I think ISO is usually around that same spot. They took FaZe out, I think, at DC in the losers bracket. Like, they're by no means a bad team. They're not a team that you look at and say middle of the pack. I think that they can honestly show out.
ISO is really good, man. They're just inconsistent. They're hard. They're a top 5, 6 hard point team right now. They're inconsistent at times. As long as they have good vibes, they have a lot of chemistry. I think highly of that team. I've played them a lot. And if they're trending up, like individually, they're amazing at this game. All 4 of them. So, yeah.
I think potentially,
happy too.
If FaZe play like they did at the start of, I think it was either DC or Season 3 playoffs, where they just, for the first 2 days, they really weren't the FaZe we knew them to be. And obviously they picked themselves up.
Both events.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was more evident in UMG DC with everyone expected them to blitz the pawn and then they end up finishing like third. If they play like that, a team like ISO is completely going to like capitalize on it, like absolutely completely. And so potentially, in my opinion, is a team like Vitality. And that's not even considering the team that comes out of the open bracket. I mean, Justice came out of the open bracket at UMG DC and ended up winning the poll. So let's put that into perspective. Like, there is teams that are going to be in the open bracket that can potentially cause upsets that we don't even think about. And that's how we see teams like ON end up going 0-4 and then place like top 24 at UMG DC.
And I know we'll kind of talk about that later in the show, but we'll talk about like our top teams as well. But Nestle, go ahead. I didn't interrupt you.
I just don't see ISO not making it to winners out of this pool. I just don't see FaZe or ISO losing. Like, there's potential for it all to happen, but it's just kind of like our pool. Like, there's potential for it to happen, but I don't see if ISO plays well and FaZe plays well. I feel like they're on a whole nother level of the other 2 teams.
We'll see how this this group kind of turns out. In just a minute. Goalie, do you want to take a quick commercial break before we head to the next 2 groups, or do you think we should just keep going? We're going to take a quick commercial break, guys. When we return, we have Group C and D to talk about, as well as a pretty big Q&A that we're going to be answering all your guys' questions in the chat and also on Twitter as well. So we'll see you guys on the other side. 60 seconds.
To the STiKS. Okay, I think we're back now. Goalie's communication.
We're good.
Kingdom's taken a short break, but we're going to continue anyway because the show must go on. And obviously, we still got groups C and D to talk about. What I think these 2 get quite interesting. Starting with obviously Group C, we have Denial, Epsilon, Rise, and Millennium. A lot of uncertainty, in my opinion, in this pool because of the fact that Epsilon obviously played really well at season playoffs. How are they now going to perform after the roster changes they made? Obviously, you got Rise as well. STiKS on it. Who knows? STiKS versus Parasite. A lot of people have been saying between Epsilon and Rise. I want to throw it over to Mr. Landon as Kingdom comes back to kind of get your opinions on this roster. And obviously, Denial without replays and with Classic, what do we think?
In my opinion, I think like Denial's a good team. Like, obviously they were playing pretty well. They got second at DC, where they got basically wrecked. But still, I think the kind of discontinuation of replays, I'm not sure what's exactly in their mind strategy wise. Classic is a really good player. He obviously did come from Elevate. He can kind of be streaky at times, but he's also really good. Maybe they wanted a little bit more slaying presence. But from what I've seen in the past, like whenever replays was meant, and I know this is kind of weird, but he's basically the only objective player left in the game. Like, to be honest, there are a couple players who like remotely play that only. I think in AW, the objective role has kind of been split up into 2 different players, like 2 support players. They kind of like run it off.
It's like you have a primary, and then if he dies,
it's kind of based on maps and game
you have like kind of an order of who goes in the hill or who carries the drone or whatever. I kind of feel
right. I think honestly, Denial's still a really good team. It's going to kind of come down to how their chemistry works out, how they play as a team, has a unit together. But I thought Replays was a really good player. But according to him, he was happy to leave the squad. And he said this really wasn't working out for them, and he's had a pretty rough ride with them throughout all of Advanced Warfare. I think he's been dropped like 3 or 4 times and picked up. So I think that uncertainty.
He's also a world champion.
Yeah, I mean he is You can't take that away from from
Everyone
Mr.
forgets
Chris.
that. It's like Jacob
You want to
as
know?
well.
You want to know that the
Forgets.
replays effect? Denial's going to struggle more than they did without him.
That was
I
my
almost felt
my
like-
curiosity too, because it was like, are they going to be better with like I don't know what their like
That's
objective
certain
is.
certain things that they didn't pick up Classic to get more kills necessarily. They just wanted a faster player. I talked to them a lot. They're talking about Chris's play style in a lot of situations in every game type. They just said we want someone faster. They said replays could go 20 and 40, but we're gonna lose. But when I play with Classic, because Temp has chemistry with him from Elevate, he's like Nikki D will go 20 and 40, but we always win. So it's just his play style speeds up to their pace more, and that's what they wanted.
It's
Who
interesting.
are we talking about?
Denial.
Oh,
I
we
told-
moved
Yeah,
on
your
to
snacks.
Group C.
Yes.
Told him the Chris Crowder effect. You drop Chris Crowder, you're gonna place bad.
This is very
It's a
true.
curse. It's a curse.
I almost feel like as well he acts as kind of that leadership and that experience role because obviously you got who can temp on that roster.
That's
I'm
a
not
very
saying
young
that.
roster.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts on Hook, Neslo?
He's an animal. He's a god amongst
Thank you.
men.
Thank you very much.
I said it after I beat him at DC. I said he's the best sub player in the game, and I had about 1,000 Optic fans roasting me. So
People are saying in the chat that he's overrated. I don't think so.
No.
look at his numbers and look at his performances and
That's-
placings all year. He's an animal.
That's what I'm saying. This dude's been second on multiple teams this year.
but
It's
like, are people saying that because like they think he's, as people like to call it, a jet packer? Obviously,
I mean, he
He's
hasn't
got-
proved himself in any other Call of Duty for right now. It's
Exactly.
just
Oh, no,
it's,
it's
just,
just
it's
back-
justified to call him a jetpacker. Like he hasn't been a top 5 player in any other Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But
That's the-
I played him in pool play, and I've played him before, and I literally lost 2 maps to him himself.
I know Denial had like a really hard time and even like casting and watching over their games. It seemed like in Hardpoint, I don't know if it was just who like I don't obviously I don't know Denial's like how they communicate. I don't watch all their streams or anything like that. But it seemed like the way that they directed themselves was that they pushed everything. Like they would get inside the hill at times. Like Replays is obviously the main objective guy, but they just sent like Hook. Occasionally they'd send Temp and and Slash like on a mission, and then Replays just gets in the hill. Like they would always lose games when they would have more kills in a hard point, and then they would end up losing the game. Like
That's
I've
what I'm
watched,
saying.
and I don't know if that was just like them realizing that Replays is too slow, like you mentioned, and then now they're trying to like push everything as a team, or what. But
Wait, so they lost when they had more kills.
That's what
yeah.
they're known for. They
Yeah.
they lost more
What?
games outslaying
I didn't
teams
know that
than like
statistic.
any other team. Like they always outslay their teams and lose. Dude, I had Hugh drop I had Slasher drop 48 and Hugh drop 45 in Detroit Hardpoint, and I lost by 20.
Wait, when was
What?
it? I think it was on like solo when Hoop dropped like 50 and lost.
he dropped like 53 and hit like 17 caps or something
Yeah.
insane like that.
If I have a sub player on my team dropping 53, I'm not losing. That's 53 kills.
So Neslo, if Dylan ever left TK again, I mean he didn't leave last time I don't think, but
I'm not picking up. Hugh.
you said you wouldn't.
I can't.
Oh yeah. If it was
If he-
18.
No, because he's only proven himself in this game.
So when you guys are looking at, are all teams thinking the same way? And
Yep.
going into Black Ops 3?
Dude, obviously players are going to be good. Like players like Hugh are going to be good at Black Ops 3, but the game is much slower. It's different, and fundamentals. I'm telling you, if fundamentals of basic Call of Duties come back to COD, everything is different. So
I'm excited. Are we talking about Pool C?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were just kind of in the middle of talking about Denial.
So
a little
we
bit.
talked about Denial. We got Epsilon, Rise, and Millennium. I mean, Neslo, as a player, like, what are you expecting from Epsilon this tournament? Are they kind of? Do you just see it as they just had a good event because of this inconsistent game, and they may flop at MLG finals, or do you actually consider them a true contender?
I mean, I got destroyed by them at MES. Wow, Epsilon. I've played Epsilon before, dude. Those TR kids are amazing.
Agafin's
Yeah.
the fact.
And you got 3 of them on one roster. now.
Agafin is
You have to remember that.
Nagafin's an animal. Aqua's an animal, and Remy is probably one of the best objective-minded players in this game. But I mean, everyone talks about their ups. Like, well, no one expected them to place that high. No one expected them to make these upsets. I would be heated if I'm Epsilon right now because I just lost to Optic 5-5 last round in winners finals, and then I choked a 3-0 against FaZe. So I'm thinking to myself, like, people talk about how good they did at playoffs, but at the same time, what is that? and like that's something that people got to think about. Like, what is their vibe right now? And I don't know if they're gonna
other
practice.
teams like not doing as well.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that, man. Like I said, this game's all individual. All 4 of those players were on one all weekend. They could easily do it again. Those TR kids have consistently proven themselves throughout this game that they're nasty at this game, and they're not gonna play bad whatsoever at this event.
No.
But I don't know if they're going up 3-0 against FaZe. I don't know if they're going last map with Optic. This game is so unpredictable. I think they can win the pool.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say.
I think they're gonna honestly. I think they're gonna give Denial a lot of trouble. I think they're gonna beat Denial, and then I don't know who's gonna beat Epsilon. It's gonna be a toss up.
Rise won't. Millennium won't.
I want to see how Rise plays.
They could 3-0 their pool. Like Epsilon has an absolute chance at 3-0ing their pool.
It's all their searches, man. If you look at all these players and how individually talented they are in their hard point and like watch the games, it's like, yeah, you win your S&D, you literally got to win one other game type.
Yeah, that's true.
If you win 2 searches, you just got to take a respawn. Like, come on. And then you look at people like Epsilon, like, yeah, they can easily. But like I said, they just played so well, they choked, and then they replaced a player. That's another thing. Like people are like, well, Aqua, he's got Chem with TR. He's maybe a little bit better than Royalty, but they made a roster change after placing really well at an event. So a lot of times that shit doesn't end up working out.
And something else, like Epsilon is by no means not used to having a difficult, a difficult run in a tournament. Like season 3 playoffs, they had by far like the hardest run of anyone. They played what?
And they
Denial,
took out
Elevate. Yeah. They beat FaZe. They played Optic. We're up, I think, like 3-1. They played FaZe. They were up 3-0.
They really arguably took out the top 4 teams in NA.
Yeah, and they just the inexperience showed. And a team like probably like Denial, I mean, Denial's not exactly inexperienced. They got a lot of younger players. Like I look at all these up and comers, and like that's the battle of the up and comers is Denial and Epsilon right there. Like name how many of those players. Slasher proved himself. Like he was good at Ghost, plays second in Ghost, amazing player in this game. Aqua, amazing player in this game. Remy, this game. Nagafin, this game. Classic, this game. Like there's all up and comers in AW, and they're about to go at it. So it's gonna be a game 5, 100%. I could see a game 5, and I could see a 5-5 last round. So we'll see.
So I'm gonna ask really quick. I know Fatty just joined us. Fatty, how are you doing, man? It's nice to see you.
I'm great.
Hey,
I'm glad to be here.
This is wonderful. This is like a STiKS reunion right now. For those who don't know, it's always good to have members who were obviously previously on the show as well. It's nice to see Fatty on here as well. Along with Kingdom. Kingdom does show up every once in a while, but
Kingdom's doing something.
So to kind of let Fatty know where we are, Fatty, we're currently talking about the World Finals groups. Those were announced yesterday on the ESR. We're kind of just going over which teams we think are looking pretty strong, heading and moving forward. So we were kind of just talking about the teams. In particular, I know Tommy was going to lead us to our next team, but just kind of bringing you up to speed a little bit. So Tommy, if you'd like to kind of talk about the rest of the teams in the group, I don't actually know. I don't even have it pulled up. To be honest.
So we're on Group C at the moment, and obviously we talked about Denial, Epsilon. We kind of touched on Rise, and then obviously got Millennium as well. I mean, realistically, I think we can all admit it. Millennium aren't going to really. I don't think pose a threat, and that's even coming from an EU bias point of view. Rise is for me the uncertainty because obviously you've had the dualship of Wheats and Chino throughout Advanced Warfare, from my knowledge, and now obviously you've got Burns, and they've added Aches to the roster. What's a very interesting pick. I don't know who wants to kind of answer this, but like, what's kind of your opinion on this roster with Aches, who has by far really had one of his worst Call of Duty titles? Anyone want to take?
You're talking about
to take that question?
Aches, dude. I mean, TB said it best yesterday. You gotta just question like what is Pat thinking right now? If he genuinely cares, if he really is like, all right, Chino, I'm gonna make you a better bow, and Weeds, I'm gonna make you a better player, and then Burns, you're just gonna go off do your thing because you're amazing at this game. Like they could do well. They could shake heads. They're like another ON, but they have a lot more potential than ON. I just got destroyed by Rise's season 1 playoffs or season 3 playoffs. My bad.
Yeah.
So they have the ability to win. I played with with Wheats and Chino. They can make some like detrimental mistakes when the time comes, but they're amazing players at this game. I know Jamal. This is Wheat's best Call of Duty. I think Jamal's amazing at this game. I think Chino is really driven, and I think he's a really good player. So if I was placing, you know, 5th with them, 7th with them, like I was placing decent with them. I see them doing well, but Epsilon and Denial, those are 2 really good teams, and they just lost to Denial pretty bad last event.
We think a lot of like Neslo.
It's gonna be Rise upsetting Epsilon. I think that's like a weird matchup. I know Aches plays really well against like those kind of players, so it'll be interesting. You can't really predict a team. You can't predict any team Patrick Price is on.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
If there is an event though, like where Aches wants to win,
It'll be this one.
it's this one, or it's the the first tournament of the entire game. He wants to
Especially
go out.
going to Black Ops 3.
Oh, I'm
Exactly.
about to pick. Oh, we're about to pick up Pat for the first event next year, right away. Just the
Who
first
drop
event.
it
Dude.
though? Who you drop
I don't know, man. I'll drop myself. I'll coach for the event. I'll be like, bro, win TK championship. Come on, man.
Like,
We gotta win a championship. You're like 4 for 4, first tournament of the years. Hop on board, bro.
right? I wonder if like I know we'll see some roster changes most likely come out of Mr. Aches most likely maybe.
Yeah, we'll see plenty. Is he gonna Neslo? Do you think are him and Teep gonna get on teams for
The thing is, it's like everyone has this aura around Pat, like he can flip a switch at any time, and like I always believe that because I stopped believing in it. I was like, dude, it's getting to that time. He's got other priorities in life. He just can't do what he used to do anymore. He doesn't surround himself with those kind of players anymore. And to be honest, none of those players really want to touch him right now. Like in this game, like any top like 3 or 4 team, like they want to play with Pat. So I don't know if he's gonna be able to flip that switch and like play with TP and then just dominate again. Like there's a chance it could happen. I just don't think it's happening anymore. Like I don't know if Pat can surround himself with 2 other good players with TP to like just be dominant again. Like I don't see that many like that kind of roster change happening to the point where some of the best players in Call of Duty right now are gonna be playing with Pat. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be better the next game. But
Crazy how
I just
one game makes so much uncertainty under like about one of the most
a 20
players.
time champion or whatever he is, 19 time
and
champion.
everyone, like if I was going up against him, I'd be nervous as hell. But because of kind of how this year's gone, it's
You go up against
like
him in this game when he's on TCM. You go up against him. I beat him last event. I'm just like, huh, all right. Like,
it means nothing.
Yeah.
Like, in a game like Ghost, you'd have a massive sense of achievement because of the profiling of him. But it's almost like because he's since MLG Columbus, it's kind of been a very rocky road for him on various different teams.
I wouldn't underestimate him because he's one of those people. As soon as you underestimate him, he loves proving people wrong.
Yeah. He has to do this. Him and TP have to split up, and the only success they're going to see is if they do the same thing Parasite's doing, which is team with some younger guys that'll listen to them and just play
use
like
that
animals
experience to make your teammates better.
Yeah, Parasite, like ever since this game started, everybody's known he's consistently done well in search, and he's a smart player. Nobody could say I mean, he makes some weird decisions about what he says on Twitter and stuff sometimes, but and what he says on stream sometimes. But the way he plays is very intelligent, in my opinion. But he's got to get around people that'll actually listen. And I think if Aches can do that, he'll win. TP, same deal. Otherwise, they're going to keep seeing a lack of success.
I have to say, like, I really, really miss, like, the confidence that Teep had. Like, looking at previous, like, tournaments, and even Aches as well. Like, I know we were kind of talking about them, but, like, the confidence that they have, like, I've been watching a lot of Black Ops 2 VODs, like, getting myself excited, for Black Ops 3 and whatnot. And, like, seeing Teep in interviews saying, we're going to beat them because we are the best team in the game. Boom. Like, that's how simple it is. And just seeing him, like, even in his streams.
It's very short, blunt.
It's very short. Like, even after, I think there was one game, Season 3 playoffs, he's like, we're feeling pretty good coming into this one. And then as soon as they lost the hard point, he goes, well, rip. Like, he tweeted out, like, it just, I feel really bad because the players that I've been watching, like, growing up and watching as well, it really sucks to see them after, a title or two, since the game has really changed so much, because it's like one title is completely different for the next one, and it's only a matter of years, like we mentioned, Tommy. But I really miss seeing confident players who in the past have dominated, and due to the past couple of events, or past couple of titles, they've kind of lost that edge, which, I really hope that, for Teep and Aches being, the most historic duo of all time, coming
like, logically, if we look at this, like, I don't want to say, like, it's anything bad on the players, but, like, obviously, they're not used to all this roster changes, all this roster mania, jumping from team to team, from event to event. They've always had that sort like secure 3 players. It's always been it's been Pat and Aches to start, Aches and Teep, I should say, to start off with, and then obviously Crimsix joined, and then it's always just been shuffling out that 4th, whether it be Karma or Crimsix. They're not used to being the ones that are a 4th for another team and having to adapt to a new environment. I think that maybe has taken its toll in Advanced Warfare. I know it's a bit of an inconsistent game, but still, it's like they haven't really had that kind of experience in the past, because they've always been the 3 players solid on the roster and then just looking for a 4th rather than being that 4th.
Owen killed Teeps, like
that's what
inner greatness. Yeah, he
Teep's confident, bro. Teep knows he's gonna go into this next game and be nasty. I've talked to him a lot. Yeah, Teep's the kind of guy. He's just really humble. Doesn't talk a lot. Doesn't talk a lot like I do. He knows he's gonna go in the next game, be a top player again. He's got a great mindset, great dude. And if this game's anything like Black Ops 2, then he'll be nasty.
What team what organization do you think he would find himself in?
You can't predict it, because people that are placing outside of top 8 consistently in this game could be top 4 players in the next game. So,
why is it such a big difference going from game to game? Like, I don't think I've ever asked
you can't play this fast in Black Ops 3, bro. this game, like, dude, I got people hot pocketing me, bro. I got someone called the hot pocket. That's like the armadillo. Like, I got people double dashing, double jumping every life. Like, I explain this to everyone. The fundamentals are completely swapped in this game. You're actually taught to overextend. You're taught to, think so far ahead and spawn kill so much. Like, the fundamentals are completely undisciplined, and no other COD, even Ghost, was like that. Like, I hated Ghost, and Ghost was trash, but at least the game wasn't this fast. And when a game that's slowed down, there's just some people, better reaction time. They're better fast players, better fast thinkers, better situational players. There's just very little. What teamwork did I even just say in any of those things? There's no teamwork in any of that. It's all individual. So,
like what you said earlier, it's all about the individual players. I mean, you look at the reason you could argue that FaZe and OG have been so successful is because look at the individual players. Scum individually performs well. Clayster individually performs well. So do players like Zuma and Form and stuff like that.
And they're good teammates, but it's just like Black Ops 2, I set up for a hill, and I'm straight up out-triggering you because I out-rotated you. You can out-rotate a team the entire game in this game and get shit on. Like, you could lose. And it's just like, that's something that won't exist in the next game, and players are going to be forced to have positioning and play slower, and that's something people are going to have to adapt to, and that's something like TP, who plays slow, lays down a lot, pre-aims, is going to be dominant at. So
I think that's why you saw like the rise of the teams that are just pure slayers, like your OG. I think that's just a pure slaying team, and I don't know. We'll see. Like, what teams do you think have the best strategy built as they are now? Like, if you're gonna say, let's put them into Black Ops 3,
mine
best strategy. Yours?
Mine.
I wouldn't change. I wouldn't change TK. I wouldn't change OG. I wouldn't change FaZe. And I probably, even though Hook is gonna have to go away, I wouldn't change Denial. Like, those teams, in my opinion, those maybe 4 teams, I wouldn't change a single thing about the roster, and I would just see how it played out for Black Ops 3, because TK has the teamwork, the commitment, and the chemistry to carry through into a game that's going to take more teamwork.
It showed that in Ghost. We carried the first game through the first event through Ghost. We went in with the same exact team from Black Ops 2, and we were just we witnessed, like, us and Complexity were the only 2 teams that didn't make any changes going into Ghost, and both of us were predicted to do awful at the event. And then we just showed up, and with our chemistry, our mindset, and just how to bounce back and win, like, grind out maps, it was easy. And we both looked at each other. We were like, dude, did you guys think you were about to place like top 8 in this event? And they're like, yeah. And we're like, dude, we thought we were about to place like top 16. And then we just saw, we didn't win a map before Columbus. And then we just looked at ourselves in the finals. We're like, wow, man, these teams are lost.
So, this might be like a really dumb question, but just kind of based on how you think of it. Do you think it was a harder transition from Black Ops 2 to Ghosts, or from Ghosts to AW? Because I know, like,
Ghost AW. This is an entirely different breed of COD.
Well, I didn't know, because there was like a lot of people could say, oh, it's completely different because the players who were really good in the past aren't as good. We have a bunch of young players, but I know we can discuss where the young players come from.
Who you're talking about, because if you're talking about like like a team like TK, I think they're going to be fine going back to more conventional Call of Duty. But if you're talking about a team that has these players that have come up through Advanced Warfare, they're the teams that you really want to be focusing this question on, because
Like,
obviously,
you're gonna be saying like seeing it's like us, like we struggle to adapt to AW's play style. Like it shows in the placings, it shows in the performances. We struggle to play unconventional and play at that kind of fast pace. It's going to be the opposite going into the next Call of Duty. At least that's what's predicted to be when it comes to like the best AW players. They're the ones that are going to be the ones not struggling, but they're going to be the ones that are going to be forced to adapt. So that the PlayStation.
Anyway, let's kind of bring it back round full circle. So we've got one last pool to talk about. I think looking at Pool C, we can all agree it's kind of between Denial, Epsilon, and Rise, depending on your view. But it looks like Epsilon.
No faith in Gotaga, man. No, I'm kidding. But
potentially, I mean, Millennium. Who knows? I mean, if everyone writes them off, they could be the team to really cause an upset. But moving on to Group D, last group, we obviously have Elevate with the #1 position, followed by Envy, Orbit, and then Citadel Gaming. That is a team from Australia who I believe they
are going to get smacked.
I think it could have been Mind Freak there,
Right.
but because they're not practicing and whatnot, they're giving it to Citadel. But I'm gonna, no offense to them, straight away write them off. I have nothing against them, but just based off kind of the performances of the Australian team compared to the global scene, I don't think they really stand a chance, if we're going to be honest. But obviously, Elevate, Envy, and Orbit are the teams I really want to talk about, because let's go with Envy first, because Envy, for me, made some surprise kind of roster changes with obviously Octane and Aqua going separate ways, and then now they've got Goon and Jert. I really want to throw a question to Neslo about Goon Jert, because I think he's had a bit of a not the greatest title, should we say? Do you think kind of this is his redemption at this point?
This is like not his last legs. It's the last event, so we'll see the kind of interest he brings in Black Ops 3. The thing about TK and any player that's played for TK out of the core, it's just struggled to find other teams to pick us up when we get released or dropped, because we don't play with anybody else, because we haven't played with anybody else. Yeah, and they've all been garbage rosters with average players. Like, he hasn't been on a top contender in a while, and that doesn't mean he's bad. I was on Fear. I went from TK to Fear, so it happens, and that's not even a bash to Moho or Assassin. They just weren't competing at the time. Like, it's a drastic change in a mindset and placing. So I think Goon's nasty. We were considering it, bringing back the core 4. He was going to be like our second option if we couldn't get Apathy. Okay.
So
I think he's going to go off. I think he's going to have a nice event. He loves Envy. He loves Envy like I like TK, and him and Loonjar, like, they have a lot of pride. I know Looney's got a lot of pride, and he's not losing to Octane in his mind. Like, he's going to do everything in the world not to lose to Octane. So I think Goon and all them, they're going to do good, and I think Goon's going to prove he's like one of the top players still.
Do you think Goon and Jerd can play together and still slay well together?
Yeah, 100%. I think Jerd's a beast. I think Goon has put a lot more time into COD lately. You know, everyone gives him stuff about Berg and his relationship and how he's so devoted to that. Which is nothing wrong with that at all. I don't know.
Are they married yet? I've been away.
Nah, but he's put a lot more time in it. He's back home. He's ping jar again. He's a warrior, and he's grinded COD again. Like, he understood that, like, he wants to be back at the top. It's not like he's just sitting there waiting. Like, he's actually gotten a lot better, improved, and played a lot better. So I think Envy's gonna do well. Envy? Yeah, they play a decent amount. Yeah.
Ask Tasmo. He's in the chat.
Well, it was funny because were we playing with Tasmo? We were in a call with him or something. Me and Goalie were. I think you were in there too, Landon. And I was telling him how, because when were we talking to Tasmo? We were playing Halo. I don't remember. I think he was in Goalie's stream. We were playing Halo together, but it was just unfortunate, you know, the way things worked out, and they did the best they could. I can tell you that Taz, you can disagree with me, but I'm pretty sure this is not going to be the roster going into Black Ops 3 unless they win this event. But I still think they would probably make a roster change. And so it'll be interesting. I want to see them go up against Elevate. That's going to be great. I mean, and them in Orbit as well. I think Citadel is kind of, you know, they're going to get smacked by all three of these teams. But I have
So
no
what
idea.
did we learn? What did we learn in what Worlds and Ghosts? I mean, you can't ever discount the Australians.
It's true. Wait,
Yeah, I mean, you just can't. Just because, I mean, one thing is, we're not used to seeing these guys. We don't know what they have up their sleeve. I mean, everything's all
Kangaroos.
running guns, but you never knew. It's kangaroos, like drop
If it was-
bears.
If
I
it
don't
was
know.
Mind Freak, I would agree. But
are there any
I,
players that are on Citadel that were on those previous teams at all? Do we know? I was just curious if
don't
someone
even
knew.
know the roster. I mean,
Let's see.
I don't know
I'll tell
anyone
you
on
who's
this
the
roster.
team.
Yeah, I don't know
I mean-
any of these people.
I know like a handful of Australian
Chu,
players, maybe like
just
10,
cool.
but none of these even ring a bell.
Somebody named Carey. He's gonna carry.
Carry it to a loss.
Oh,
But no, I'm just saying, like, don't discount them. Just
Yeah,
They have a
I
cool
get where you're
logo.
coming from. Just
It's
I don't
official.
know. We'll soon find out.
I
We
won't
should-
discount them, but I'll say that the roster changes that have taken place on the other teams in Group D are going. When teams change rosters, like there's this desire to beat the people that you used to play with and prove to them that you made the better decision or that you stayed on the better team or you moved to the right team. And so I think, yeah, it's I mean, the Elevate Envy is going to be a great. There's going to be a great battle, but I can tell you by looking at these teams that these teams are going. This is their last event as a roster. You know, for some of them it's their first event, but it's also going to be their last.
I think Envy, like, it's not even a thing about Gunjar. I just think Envy didn't come out on top of all this. I mean, because they didn't even plan on changing. Like, it was Octane's decision. So
That's the thing.
And that's exactly what Tasmo told us. He said they planned on, actually going into Black Ops 3 with Octane, and so
yeah.
this was not expected. They did the best they could. And
Like, I was talking to New Force the Sunday after we lost. Like, I already knew we were making a
you guys knew
change.
what you were doing, yeah.
Like, Envy was just like, oh, okay.
well, I know, like, from what Lunia said, I'm not gonna get into it, but from what I heard from him saying, like, on Twitter and stuff, that the morning of, they asked him if he was gonna go to a team because he got offered by Elevate. He said no.
No, I know all the
Next
story
one,
about
okay.
it. Yeah, he said
I know
no,
that's
and then
for sure.
he just didn't
So
know
definitely
what
got
organization he wanted to be on, and
Right.
there's a lot of things Octane's going through that he made a lot of decisions. Like, Elevate's beat him last 2 events, so
Yeah. Give it
we'll
a
see.
try.
So
I think Elevate's
obviously-
nasty.
I did
By the
too.
sounds of it, we can kind of agree that this may not be, well, probably won't be the Envy roster going into Black Ops 3, but just bringing it back to the point of this actual pool. I mean, are Envy contenders for winning this pool after these roster changes? Because for
Who's
me,
the
I
third
think this is
tier?
a... Pardon?
Who's
The third tier is
team?
Orbit.
So it's
don't have a
Elevate,
chance.
Envy, yeah, Orbit.
I don't think Orbit has a chance.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be between Elevate and Envy.
Does anyone think Orbit has a chance at all?
I think Orbit could, like, and this is just me, and also we have to take into consideration the open bracket team. Like, they could have a really good open bracket team. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, I mean,
Justice Pro.
exactly. We had Justice.
Citadel Gaming could win the whole pool.
Good, but like honestly,
Technically.
looking at Orbit, I don't think that they're a bad team. Obviously, they got replays instead of accuracy, which not that I wouldn't have disagreed with. I thought accuracy is kind of underrated, at least in my opinion. I don't know, everything. Just from a spectator's opinion, from seeing him get a lot of kills and also do the support role, I thought he was pretty good. But adding replays as well, they're going to get a little bit more of someone who plays a little bit slower. They're going to have a main objective player, and they're going to have Happy, Vicento, and TCM, who are pretty good young slayers to go all out. So I think, honestly, it'll be between Orbit and Envy, in my opinion. We don't know the open bracket team, obviously. But in my opinion, I'd agree. I think Envy's a little bit better than Orbit, but I've seen some surprises from Orbit in the Pro League, and at some games, they've turned it up, especially against Opti Gaming. And I think one of their search and destroys, like, Orbit completely was dominating them in, like, the first 4 rounds, and then they couldn't, pull it off at the end. So we'll see what happens, but I think the Orbit, they got a pretty good leader in replays, with them.
So I guess the next place to stop off in terms of this pool is Elevate. For me, Elevate a real contender now, because obviously with the addition of Octane, like a permanent bow slayer, what I think is something they maybe were lacking. It's fair to say. I definitely feel like they're a massive contender in terms of not just this pool, but the whole entire tournament. I mean, as good as Classic was a player, I just don't think the 4 players they had on that team worked completely. But I don't know. Like Elevate for me, I have higher expectations for them than I did for Season 3 playoffs. Does anyone like disagree with that?
Well, I've always had high. I put them in denial, like in the same boat. They're gonna play. I think one of the things that Neslo said when we were on Pool C is like all the players on denial are gonna play well. All the players on Epsilon are gonna play well. I feel the same thing about Elevate. They're going to play well, and they can shock the world, so to speak, and beat a team that nobody expects. But the talent pool is a lot bigger for Call of Duty right now. Black Ops 3 is going to whittle it down to where you're going to have like 10 players that are better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Right now, it's so spread out. And like Neslo was saying, he'd rather play OG than like Epsilon. And these teams, Elevate, Epsilon, Denial, they're like these, and even Envy, you know, they're like these teams that just, they play different. You know, they don't have as much experience on past Call of Duties, and so they play a little bit crazier. I mean, I guess Envy's a little more calmed down now that they made the changes that they have, and Cap and Goon, and you know, they're gonna play pretty much the same Call of Duty they've been playing for years. But I think Elevate, I don't think they have it. I wouldn't agree with you that they have a chance to win this entire event. They could make a surprise and place like top 4 or something.
Yeah.
But I think when they get to the best of sevens, they're gonna lose. I think when they get to the best of sevens against FaZe, OG, even TK.
Why did you say best of sevens? Is it like the high level that they have to maintain throughout the whole entire series? Or
well, no, but I think they can surprise people on respawns. I think that when they get to some of these better, more methodical teams that are going to be at the top, and they're going to lose the searches. And so it just becomes, I mean, what we've seen from Optic all year is they've gotten better and better at search. They don't win search the same fashion that they win respawns, which is like, you know, just demolishing teams. But teams have caught up to them in respawns, to where you see teams actually going toe to toe. Like Optic, they were losing in the 5K. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? They were losing to Denial for most of it.
The thing is, like what I said about like the finals and like playoffs is like everyone, we were all talking about in the pro launch. We're like, dude, Optic just straight on destroys you in hardpoint. Like it's not close with other pro teams. They beat you 250 to 100, and you just don't understand like what happened. Like how did they beat us so bad? And like they're the only team to straight up throttle other pro teams in hardpoint. And lately, I literally seen them like they have to grind out hardpoints to win them now. So the hardpoint gap is like the hardpoint gap has gotten a lot closer.
That's what I was, and that's basically what I was saying, is that hardpoint has not. Optic can lose in hardpoint. I've seen them lose in hardpoint. But at the beginning of this game, the first couple of events, it was scary. Like when they started winning events after the first event, it was like, okay, there's no one that's gonna beat them. But nowadays, I'm like, well, there's these Denial team, the way they run around and just slay like crazy and jetpack boost all over the place, overextend. There's no such thing as an anchor. They just run into the hard point and slay out, get a couple 2-3 pieces, and it's over. They took over the hard point. Optic used to be the only team that could do that. They could just not rotate. You know, they could just wait. Okay, we'll rotate now. We'll kill all of them, and then we'll take over the hard point. And so I think this is going to be an amazing event. I think a team like Elevate is going to do great in the first couple of rounds, because they're going to beat teams in their respawns, and hardpoint especially. And if they can play, and a lot of these newer teams for some reason, and Neslo, I don't know where all of the, like where do you guys learn uplink, because it's new to this game, but it seems like you guys are all keeping up with each other for the most part. Like
scrims.
And then you said scrims, so you see what other teams do, and then you just kind of adapt what you can to your team.
That's kind of like what we're doing different for this last event is we want to know how everyone's going to play, because you go into an event, you're just like, all right, we want to play our way, we want to win our way, and then I go to Gfinity and I play Europeans that have no idea what they're doing and they're winning. So I think a lot of teams right now are focused on each other and like your pool. Like I want to know what Optic's doing in every search. I want to be ready. I want to be able to outplay call someone. Like, because like there's certain people I haven't placed well in this game, so I haven't had the opportunity to play these teams 100 times on LAN.
So how practiced in the past, you obviously talk about how you're probably scrimming a lot more to learn strategies of other teams. In the past, have you just completely you wanted to go into it kind of series by series, or
ever since when we team with Nameless, and ever since Gfinity, we literally didn't practice. Like we practiced once a week. We just didn't believe in it. We were just like, all right, we're gonna go to the event, try our hardest, turn up. Like this was the worst. It was the worst mindset ever. So like, to be honest, I'm not even gonna lie. Like I didn't feel dominant as an individual going into events anymore. Like I just knew my muscle memory and respawn knowledge just wasn't like what it should be anymore. So we got we caught up. Like we've been playing catch up, but we're looking good right now, and it's just scrims. And I think I'm about to get off here, and we're about to go over our search and some strategies here and there, and how we're gonna execute, because no one can practice S&D really. Like that's something else people don't realize. The only S&D
do you guys
practice
still not scrim S&Ds?
No one scrims S&D. So the only S&D practice you get is in a GB tourney or a 2K or 5K. That's it. So.
And you can't play. It would be stupid for you guys to play like a team that's not in the tournament, right?
Yeah,
because not on your level, so it'd be waste.
There's no point. So we're just gonna develop strategies, and then we're gonna just have to try to practice executing them at the event and getting better at the event.
Man, that you guys have had that since I started watching Call of Duty. Like nobody's ever scrimmed S&D, and I always wonder, because then you see these random strats that win an event, and it's like, man, everybody else could have saw that, but I guess you have to hold it. You know?
I mean, it's just one of those things. Pro teams, like, why do you want to show another pro team what you're gonna do in search?
I think like
a
main thing
as well, isn't it? Anyone can watch it.
Like the main problem with like scrimming searches is that like you almost don't want to win. Like you want to like test out different strategies, but if you do,
oh yeah, we never
that team knows everything.
Other people's strategies without revealing your own.
Right. So like, go ahead. Yeah.
In Black Ops 2, we played pro scrims a lot. Like there's actually people playing best of nines before champs and stuff like that. There's a lot of S&D practice in Black Ops 2, and we would just lose. We'd get 6-0'd. We didn't care. We were just. Right. I wanted to see what would work. I just wanted to see what would work and what wouldn't. And then like people would do some dumb shit that wouldn't work on LAN. I was like, don't even worry about it, bro. They go 4 mid on LAN. That's a 3-piece. I'm good. So it's just a lot of like, the thing is, people. I made a video about it, like placing second and why people don't have a winning mentality. It's because people play to win online instead of learn, and that's like reason why teams fail.
People play to win online instead of learn. Good point.
I think that's going to kind of, close it out for the world groups. Really quick, we're just going to go over. We have some questions to ask, but I was asking you guys, group of death. Who do you guys think, and you can, give your little bit of input if you want to, or just kind of just say it. Who do you guys think has the group of death for this tournament? Anyone can say it. Who can ever start us off is fine. So.
Well, C and D have the teams that are the most evenly matched in them. I would have to say C, because I know nothing about Citadel, and I think Orbit is a little bit below Envy and Elevate. So I'd have to say C is going to be the most unpredictable. Would be, okay. Yeah, Group C. I have no idea who's going to get. Like, I could maybe pick first.
I'm gonna jump on that bandwagon as well. I think with like not knowing how Rise are gonna do with Eggs, and also if Epsilon can perform to the same standard with Aqua.
Vincent's not here. You can say it's Aqua.
How do you say that?
Aqua.
What's his name?
Aqua. You say Aqua?
There you go.
Awkward.
Welcome to America.
Aqua. It's like you say aluminum. It's aluminium.
What?
And now I'm gonna
what? You mean aluminum?
You mean aluminum? Oh.
Aluminium?
Like a war.
I'm mind blown.
How do you say it? You say like aluminum?
My mind has been nuked.
Wait, say it. How do they say
aluminum.
it where you're
Right,
from?
so
They say petrol.
In the UK, legit, we say it as aluminium.
You say aluminum like aluminium.
Yeah.
If you look at the way it's spelled, I mean,
Like,
if you did it phonetically, it would be like.
You guys are just making it way too difficult. Like
Petrol. Get the petrol in the garage. At the garage.
Garage.
This
The
is why we
car
left and ran away and started our own country.
aluminium. Like
You stole our language. You tampered with it.
we made it
one
better.
job to spread life, and you just changed it all. Anywho, moving on.
Aluminium. All right. So I don't know how we got off on this. Any other people want to talk about their group of death? I know Fatty, you want to give your group of death. I know you've been in the scene as well, but
I think
any-
Kingdom's right. I think D is probably the most evenly matched when I look at the players. I think that's the scary one. But they're all tough. Not gonna lie. I mean, there's not one I would want to be in.
Group E would be mine, even though that doesn't exist, so I could win it.
The casters group.
Exactly.
I'd say Group C.
Group C.
I'm
I think
sticking with
This is
C.
like the first time we've ever all agreed. There's always someone that goes, "No, Group A."
well, I haven't given mine yet.
Okay.
If you say A or B,
You scumbag.
should
No,
just
No,
cut
no,
off
no, no.
that.
I think honestly, I would say C 100% like is the main one that I'm looking at. But I think B would be interesting if Owen plays like a good team. So if Owen plays like at their best, then I think that B could also be in minor contention. But I'm going to say C. There we go. That's all I'm going to say. So we all do agree. Just pointing that out there. So I think what we're going to do now, we did a pretty big, like not really a Q&A, but we have a lot of questions that we're going to be answering. So if anyone has to, we don't mind, obviously, but we are going to do a pretty big Q&A. We asked you guys on Twitter, and as well as in the chat, we can also answer some questions, in the chat as well. If you guys have any questions, we're going to go over these pretty quickly. We only do have a little bit of time left in the show, but I'm just going to read them off. We can give our input on them and kind of talk about it a little bit. So the first question is actually coming from Zombies King 1504. He says, what do you think about Thrust, a old organization coming back for Worlds and Black Ops 3? So I believe the Thrust roster is Royalty, Mochilla. Oh, I just forgot. I should know this. Keemstar and all these people. No. I just drew a blank. Hold on. I'm trying to think. Who's on Thrust?
Mochilla, Royalty,
Lacefield, and Fears. There we go. I forgot about Lacefield. So, your guys' thoughts. Old organization coming back for Black Ops 3 and the roster in general. I got to ask you guys because, honestly, like at least from like an outward perspective on paper, this is like a really good team. Like Moch and Royalty, Moch coming from Owen, Royalty coming from Epsilon. Like they were arguably some of the best players from their teams. And now they're forming together. Obviously, the chemistry isn't necessarily going to be there, but coming through open bracket, in my opinion, and we'll ask you guys as well, I think they're a pretty good team. But you guys' thoughts on them coming back?
One of the kind of the higher contenders in the open bracket to qualify for pool play. I wouldn't expect them to be one of the fifth through eighth teams that just go straight to the losers bracket of the championship bracket. I would expect them to get into pool play. But that being said, one mistake is costly. I think it's best of 5 though throughout the open bracket, is it, or is it best of 3 and then best of 5?
I honestly don't know.
Okay, well, I would expect them either way to be in the pool play stage, and I think they will be a threat. Definitely, easily a threat to kind of the European and the Australian competition, and even so more some of the kind of tier 3 teams and maybe teams like Optic Nation, Rise potentially, depending on how they perform. I think there's a lot of uncertainty. I think you're going to know how certain teams are going to perform on Friday. You'll see them perform and you'll know straight away, like, okay, this team is performing like this. You can kind of then get a rough idea of how they're going to perform throughout the whole event.
Does the top team in Open go to A, or do they go to the weaker
Probably A
group?
If they probably go to D.
You said they probably go to D?
It should be.
It should be that way. In my opinion, that team, the top 2 teams, let's just act like, look at tier 1 and tier 2. I wouldn't see them. The only team in there I would say they would potentially beat would be Envy. So I think no matter what, they're not going to bracket play, even if they end up in pool play. We've seen this happen before, so I can't even. But I don't think this team is that team that's going to come out of pool play, shock the world, and win the pool or get second.
I think Thrust honestly could be
unless
Orbit
FaZe
or Citadel
fails again
too.
But if FaZe let's say FaZe goes 1 and 2 or 2 and 1, and that team finds its way into Group B, or I guess let's say FaZe goes 2 and 2 in their pool.
Let's be real. How many times is predictions right?
They're never. Well, randomly someone says something stupid and it ends up working out.
One of these top teams are going to go to losers bracket.
No, that's what I'm saying. If it's Group B, that's in my opinion where if they find their way into Pool B, that team that we just mentioned.
You got DT, Justice.
They could get second. in that pool and find them.
It's all about turning up on that weekend, dude. Us, Optic, even Optic, man. What if we beat Optic? What if we get like the best open bracket team? Uh-oh.
That would suck.
Dude, we've seen OG and FaZe and losers. Like, it happens. Like, it rarely happens, but it does happen. So
you need to beat Optic. All right. Yeah, you guys got to beat Optic. I think that's the best position to put yourselves in is to beat them.
Confident.
All right, so then we're going to move on to the next question, which I'm not sure why you linked this one to me, Kingdom. But it says, how much kitties is the right amount of kitties? I'm not.
How much kitties is the right amount of kitties?
Yeah.
Wait, say that again, Tommy.
4.
4, all right. I mean, this is coming from you. You linked this one to me to use. I just copied and pasted, and I'm now looking at this one, and I was like, am I reading that right?
I don't even have a logical answer for that.
I don't really either.
I want to give everybody their say. If they ask me a question, I just throw it on the show.
All right. I got to go scrim.
All right, man.
He's like,
on that note.
That's too many kitties right there.
See what you do, you kingdoms. This is what you do.
I don't want to get yelled at, so.
No worries.
See you, Neslo.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Peace.
Appreciate it.
I remember when Brandon got when he stayed on our show and his team was telling him to come on.
Next question. Moving swiftly on.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next question, which is honestly the one that I would have liked Neslo to stay for, but still, we're going to move on, which is, this one actually comes from Jay, I think it's Jay Blotti is how you pronounce it. Really, Vanning show, know him really well, very big guy on Twitter as well. He asks, is Clayster the best player in all of Advanced Warfare? No. Okay. Tommy?
He's
Tommy says no. Fatty?
Possibly? I don't know. No.
So
It's so hard.
You're supposed to be rapid fire questions.
I don't think there's not a best player. I mean,
Whoa.
It changed.
Nobody's good at Advanced Warfare. I'm just gonna pull it up. Nobody's good.
Whoa.
Everyone's inconsistent. This is all a lie.
Whoa.
I think Clayster.
Have you guys ever watched Seth Abner play this game?
I've watched Seth Abner play the game.
Agreed.
I didn't say anything. I haven't given my answer.
This dude is ridiculous.
It's hard to compare though because Clayster plays such a different role. It's very hard. I'd rather you put it into categories, so best OBJ, best.
I mean,
SMG.
I'm just asking the question that he said. Best.
I
player.
know. I'm not hating on the question.
You have to take everything into consideration, though.
The reason I think Clayster is up there is because he's transitioned from one team to the next and seen the same success, if you know what I mean. I think a lot of players struggle to do that. A good example is players like JCap. They go from winning COD champs with Denaro and go on a little run, and then they transition, and then they find it hard to see the same success. Whereas Clayster, because of the type of player he is, because he's the all-inclusive package, in my opinion, I feel like that's why you have to put him up there. I get that Seth's an amazing player, but...
Okay, so, Mr. EU Scumpy.
Daddy! We can see him now.
Here's the deal. Here's my opinion.
I'm listening.
Clayster is a great leader. Great leader. He's up there, in my opinion, with Patrick Price at his prime, with Parasite when he gets on a team that'll listen to him and doesn't mind getting yelled at every once in a while and called stupid. Clayster is Crim has been leading Optic really well. If you hear him the team has decided. See, when Nade was on that team, he couldn't take Crim's complaining after every play when they made.
I thought that would break apart the team if it continued.
These days,
taught teams how to win.
What'd you say?
I said Cole taught teams how to win.
Well, yeah, these days, Crim almost says something after every messed up move. Why do we do that? Why was somebody not here? Why weren't we together? It was 4-on-2, but the team, they take it. They just listen to it. And I even hear Formal, he'll be like, yeah, I got you. And they're not even being sarcastic. They've just decided that the best thing for them to do as a team is let Crim be Crim. And the one thing I've learned about Mr. Seth Abner, about Scump, this dude has such a drive to win, it is utterly ridiculous. He rarely is an annoying teammate that complains or moans. He plays his best every time he touches the sticks, guaranteed. And
I'm
you
not
can
like
ever on AW, especially, just like past games, but especially on this game, Ghost, it was kind of like, is Scump going to go off or not? On AW, you can almost predict that Scump is going to go bananas, even though he has a Formal, a Crim6, and a Karma on his team. And that's what, in my opinion, why I would put Scump. I would be able to say, and Big Snacks, if he's in the chat, is going to call me fanboy or whatever. But I would say that Scump, in my opinion, if I had to choose, is the best player. Now, Formal and Crim, amazing. Like, these dudes are great at their. If we did roles, what's the best role? These dudes are great. Crim is a great team leader. Formal's a ridiculous bow and AR and Slayer. But Scump's ability to do whatever his team needs him to do. Pick up a bow, Scump. Okay, gotcha. Can you, rush the hard point? Okay, gotcha. Can you play good in S&D and get some 1v3s? Sure. He is just, in my opinion, the best player. And the fact that he's been playing so long and is still that good is ridiculous. Like, I mean, I don't know. But Clay is amazing. So
I think it's like
I'm not like disagreeing. I just like feel like they're just such diverse roles. Like, don't get me wrong, like Scump's easily hands down at least #1 SMG. I've always credited him for his his OBJ work. His statistics don't lie. It's just I think it's hard when you've got a game where you've got such like diverse roles and diverse positioning of players, etc., and the way they play the game. And someone put it in the comments, if you drop a 40 bomb as like an SMG player compared to AR, they're completely different because of the roles they play. So I don't know, but
so Formal or Clay? Like if we did roles, would you say Formal or Clay? If you're building a team and you had to pick one AR,
that's just hard. I mean, like I think
this isn't good either.
Formal's better in terms of gun skill, but like you said it yourself, like. Clayster brings so much more to a team in terms of leadership and that expertise throughout Call of Duty. 100%. So it's like, which one do you want? I personally believe that Formal is better in terms of pure gun skill, but then it's like if you trade off a little bit of gun skill for more leadership and an in-game leader, like it's peripherals. It's what you prefer.
I think it's like it's not impossible, but it's so hard to compare two players who, like, it would be different if, for instance, at the beginning of the season, Clayster was on Oct Gaming instead of Formal, and then, say, Clayster leaves and then Formal joins. Then we could kind of compare the two because they've been on the exact same rosters. They've been in the same position.
Yeah.
But it's like, and I have a couple stats up that I've looked at that they talked about on the ESR the other day, but it's just like the amount of things that Clayster brings outside of the actual, having his hands on the sticks is insane. FaZe, while they did beat Oct Gaming in the beginning of the game, they won the AW Open. There were so many matchups that they've had in the past where it was just back and forth, back and forth. And until Clay joined FaZe, that's when they reached their full potential. I had the KDs of the old FaZe versus OG. The overall KD of FaZe, the old team was a 1.12, and the overall KD of Oct Gaming was a 0.98. I believe they had a stat yesterday, and I don't know the exact one. I wish I would have saved it. But the overall average of FaZe now is around a 1.14, and OG is around a 0.8. So it's like they've been very consistent, with the rosters that they've won with. But Clayster just adds something. It's like them being down in the grand finals, and being able to come back the way that they have, regardless of whatever team you're playing against. Clayster always being there. It's just like whenever I see Clay playing with a good team, whether it's Denial, whether it was FaZe in this game, I never count him out because I know he's going to bring something back. Whether they win or not, it's just like I never lose faith in Clay. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's just I think it's hard to compare the two because you look in-game, you could honestly say Scump because he's always going to drop numbers. Clayster going to drop numbers, but also brings a different aspect that Scump doesn't in leadership. So it's just how you kind of compare the two. I don't know. But
well, I think it comes back to your whole roles. I mean, your roles like fat rolls? No. Mama's no.
Why you do that right? Fat rolls.
Yeah, fat rolls, yeah. No, so
okay, I'm done.
One guy who's
Good night, guys. Good night. I'm up.
You got your Slayer, which is, Scump. He's always going to drop big numbers. He's always going to be big. He's going to get people pumped when he does well. The thing about Clayster is he's going to try to pump up his team all the time, and I think overall, because of his leadership abilities, Clayster might be better in that aspect. But either way, I mean, like I said, there's not, you could argue forever about who's the best player, who's the best everything. So it just depends on the day, the tournament, the team.
Enable sucks. Whoa, that's mean.
Enable's awesome.
Yes, he is.
It's a lie.
Anyways, I gotta get going, guys. I was lucky enough to be here after work, but we're gonna show my house here in a minute. I'm trying to move.
Give your
Nice
outro.
polo. Yeah, here, too well. That's the last question. We're going to end that the show. Let everyone give their outros. I know Fatty wasn't able to give his introduction.
What was the intro question?
It was if you could be pro in any esport that you want to, what would it be and why?
Professional Frogger.
I mean,
nobody else is a pro at it, and I don't have any competition right now.
That's true. I'll take that. So, I was really good answer. I'm not gonna lie. There's a game that I put on the App Store that's similar to it, and I got really addicted to it. So, we're gonna let everyone kind of leave, but we're gonna give our outros, 30 seconds or less, affiliations to the community, everything that you want to. I'm gonna start off with Tommy. Then I'm gonna go to myself. Then I'm gonna go to Fatty, and then I'll let Kingdom close it out. So 30 seconds or less. Give your outro really quick, and we'll let Fatty show his wonderful house. It looks
I think
pretty.
I can do a 10-second goalie.
10-second.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you all for watching. We had a really good turnout today. We had some personalities in the stream as well. My name's don't count for me. My name's Tommy. You can catch all my content on YouTube and stuff. Goodbye.
Oh, you did it!
That was a bit of a shambles, but yeah. I did a goalie 10 seconds.
All right, hold on. I gotta get this ready. I'm trying to go under 10 seconds.
Stretch, do your stretches.
10
Come
seconds.
Hold on, really quick. I drink the water. Alrighty, guys, it's been your dude, your brother, your pal, your man, your ally. It's been Lanny, guys. Thank you so much for coming to the show. Really appreciate it. Make sure to check out my YouTube and my Twitch, which I stream on every 2 months. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Kingdom, go.
That was
Go.
like 8.5.
Wow. Is it my turn? Do we start?
Fatty, you
start
can
it?
go as long as you want.
Go ahead, Patty.
My name is Smiling Fatty, otherwise known as Brigham Kindell, and I've been working a lot. So hopefully you'll get to see me on here a little bit more, especially after the second part of tax season is done. So that's October 15th. I'll be able to watch a little bit more Call of Duty and all other esports. But you can still use the code FATTY on your Gamma Labs purchases.
Hey.
So go ahead and do so. It's all capitalized, FATTY. I love you. I'm glad to be here. It's good to see you guys. I've missed you guys.
It's good to
so
see you too, Fatty.
love you guys. We'll see ya.
All right, Mr. Kingdom.
Hey, what is up, guys? It's your boy Kingdom Soldier, and I'm going to do a longer than 10-second outro. I'm so happy to have Fatty on the show today, talk about his fat rolls and ask silly
I
questions.
didn't say my fat rolls.
Whoa, come on. Shots fired. Let's go back. Jesus.
But yeah, I'm very excited to be on the show. You may see more of me. We're trying to work it out so that I can be on here more often. I've just been working way too much, raising my children, spending time with my beautiful wife, and if I had to decide, it's kind of a no-brainer. And so I've been trying to keep up with the community and not looking at DMs because it's always goalie saying, email this person, do this, do that, get on the show, stop being a detriment. You know, that's pretty much the basics of my DMs from goalie. But we have a lot of stuff that is in the burner for this show that we call the STiKS Live. We're not going to let this die. I know some people have been like, oh, what's happening to the STiKS? Where's Kingdom? Blah, 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 blah. Guys like Landon, guys like Tommy, there's a lot of future potential on this squad. We're still rolling with Hitch and Fox and everybody else, maybe pulling in some other people, maybe going into some other esports. Who knows? Maybe we'll have some more sponsors. You never know. Maybe we'll be streaming on other platforms. I mean, whatever. You'll see. So
Hitbox coming soon.
make sure
Whoa.
that
It was a Zulu. Did I get the wrong memo?
use the code Kingdom or STiKS for 10% off your G Fuel products. I just got a ridiculous care package from them. This shirt was in there, which I think is amazing, and a whole bunch of other stuff that I can't show you, including something else that you've never tasted.
The couch. Oh,
Me
no,
either.
you don't taste couch.
So you guys will hear about that stuff soon. But make sure you also use code STiKS for 5% off your Scuff Gaming products. I will do my best to give you guys some content, stream when I can, over on my channel that I stream on my personal channel. But keep tuning into the STiKS, and we will keep providing you with entertaining content regarding fat rolls. And I'm going to close the show with the joke that I was going to tell, and the song that I was going to sing.
Oh no!
And it's now. Let me preface it by saying, remember, I used to be a gang member.
Okay.
I was like, bad kid. I got in a lot of trouble with the law, and I was kind of lost. This is when I was about 12. But the song went, a fight, a fight.
Our backs against